All right. And we are back with another episode. Episode 17, I think is what we agreed on.
I think so.
Episode 17 of the Grumpy Guy BJJ Podcast. I am your co-host, James Wilson, here with my buddy, Rob Eickhoff. What's up, Rob?
Yo, what's up, James?
Oh, not much, man. We were just feeding Snakey before the show. It's been a while since we've had a Snakey update, but Snakey got all gangster and tried to bite my finger. It was pretty good, man. He was just dialed in, like, he gets in like predator mode and he's like doesn't even notice me. He's just looking in the water, and I reached down to grab the dish because I was gonna change the water out, and I saw him, like he didn't even notice it, and I was like, holy shit, like he kind of thinks my finger's something to eat. So I wiggled it and put it towards him, and the dude freaking struck it, tried to get my finger. And then you realize, like, oh shit, what's going on here? And like,
I can't swallow that finger.
Yeah, but it was funny, man. I was impressed. That's like, that's focus.
It is.
That's pretty focused. So, anyways, so we are going to be talking about drilling in today's class, and not offshore versus fracking drilling, but BJJ drilling. Where, so, sorry, it was a bad joke.
No, it's a good joke. That almost spirals me down on this whole conspiracy theory I got, because...
Yes! All right.
Do we want to go down that road?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. So, you know how everybody hates fracking.
Yes.
Like, it's just this big thing, we're fucking up theirs.
Yes.
I agree, it's not good. But, here's what I think. I think, like, these big companies like Halliburton and whatnot love the idea of all these... environmentalists going after fracking because it's easy to defend. You know, they can argue for it, you know, and it's actually pretty easy. You know what is really terrible is the actual drilling. So, like, just so everybody knows, I spent 3.5 years working out in the oil field. And so I saw a lot of this shit firsthand. I'll try to give a quick explanation, dude. And this is super fucked up, man. So, how am I going to explain this? Because I don't have any visual. All right. So when they're drilling a hole in the ground, looking for gas or oil, whatever the thing is, you know, they send a big drill bit on and it down into the ground. If you can envision, you know, as you're drilling down into the earth, dirt and rocks and shit fall back into the hole, right?
Yeah.
So the way they get that stuff out of the hole is they pump drilling mud like down through the pipe, and then it comes back up through the hole and pushes all the debris back out.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that make sense?
Yeah,
visually?
for sure.
So when they're doing that, when the drilling mud that goes down through the pipe out the end of the drill bit and then comes up through the hole to get rid of the debris, they call that the returns. So you got to keep those returns up because, dude, what they use for drilling mud a lot of times is like diesel-based mud. It's literally chemicals and diesel fuel in it. And when they're pumping that stuff down through the pipe into the earth, like, there's no protective walls. Like, it is going straight into the earth, and then hopefully it comes back. There is a lot of times to where they get, quote-unquote, they lose their returns. That means they have no idea where this diesel-based mud is going. It's just going into the earth. It just disappears.
Right.
They don't know where it's going or what's happening. But you never hear any of these, you know, environmentalists talking about, like, the drilling process. Right. I mean, sure you do if you dig into it, but everybody's on this fracking train. Fracking's bad, but by the time they're fracking, like, once they drill a hole, they put big cement pipes or big steel pipes in there, and then they cement them in place, and they've got zones. So they only frack in certain zones. So they have a pretty good idea where shit is going when they're doing hydraulic fracturing. When they're drilling, they don't. So when I really got disturbed at this one, dude, I was working on this rig that was 200 yards from the Colorado River. I mean, literally, like, standing on the rig, you could see the river was right there.
Yeah.
Dude, right there. And they're, you know, several hundred, thousands of feet down into the earth looking for gas. And they lost returns. And they have an acceptable amount of returns they can lose. Like, they right. they don't throw any red flags and stop what they're doing if they're not losing more than, like, I forget what it was, like 200 barrels, you know, per hour. Right. Dude, a barrel is like 55 gallons.
Right. Yeah.
So unless they're losing like 200 times 50, however many gallons that is per hour or whatever, they're not concerned. So just do that. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
They're losing thousands of gallons of diesel-based mud into the earth 100, 200 yards from the river. And they're like, yeah, fuck it, just keep drilling. That shit's disturbing, dude.
That is disturbing.
Super disturbing.
So, yeah. So
anyways, that's my conspiracy theory. Like, Halliburton loves this. They'll argue fracturing all day long.
I don't necessarily think that that's way out there, man. Because, I mean, people are way smarter about that. I mean, I've mentioned this before. Like, you know, the president, I think, is this, like, little red herring thing for people to get pissed off about, because the real fucked up thing or the people who are lifetime congressmen and senators and stuff, right? So I can totally see.
Yeah, they're the hydraulic fracture. Just a little. They're like, oh yeah, you guys
dangle it over there. Get everybody pissed off over there, so you're not looking over here and paying attention to this. Yeah,
that shit's scary, dude. I used to see that shit all the time, dude. I saw so much things out in the oil field that were just straight fucking this planet up. And I was like, this is not good, dude. So we need some solar energy. It's got to be better.
Something's got to be more sustainable.
But,
man. Yeah.
Anyways,
well, there you go.
I love starting on that.
So my horrible joke led to your conspiracy theory that's probably not too, like, may not be like a conscious one, but, you know, they're happy. Like you said, I'm sure they're more than happy to have something that they can defend more easily than where the hell are thousands of gallons of diesel-based mud going by the river.
Dude, and I like that mud they use for drilling mud. Sometimes it's not as bad, but there's a lot of times it's just, I don't know, all the chemicals that are in it, dude. It'll get on your skin, and it'll burn your skin. I mean, not straight up, like burn instantly, but it'll really irritate it, and then your skin will turn all red and, you know, get dry and flake off. Like, oh yeah, let's just put 1,000 fucking gallons of that into the earth, and we don't know where it goes.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Well,
think about that when I had to go drive to Denver today. So when I'm burning my fossil fuel,
you're burning your fossil fuel.
Hey, at least I got
Jesus, supporting terrorism and destroying the earth. It fucking sucks driving around.
It does, man.
So, but anyways,
until Elon Musk has a super tube that shoots us all over the planet.
Well, see, I just keep reminding everybody the world's ending in 2012 anyway. So.
I think they were wrong with that.
I don't know, dude.
Was that the Mayans?
Yeah.
That was the Mayans.
That was my battle cry for a while. It gave me a couple good years.
Were you on that train?
Not really.
I can see you being on
No. I was not on that train. It was an excuse. I saw a good excuse when I recognized it. So, like, you know, people would be like, oh, you should, you know, recycle that fucking can you're throwing away. And I just like, man, the world's ending in 2012. Like, why do we
December 22nd, 2012.
That's
I think
right,
was supposed to be the date.
It was supposed to be the day. But anyway, so I still throw that one out there once in a while.
You don't have a 2012 license plate or anything?
No. It's another bad joke. I've got a lot of bad jokes apparently today.
It's all good.
Problem is I hang out with my family too much, so like they get all my bad jokes. So because I've told them enough times so that they get them. But anyways, not that they laugh either.
Oh, so they just roll the eyes.
Yeah.
Fucking James.
Dad jokes. Yep. Uncle jokes.
It is. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Old man jokes. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, yeah. I pulled out the one on Z where he's like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, well, I'm James. Nice to meet you, hungry.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. I've gotten him with that one a few times. And I know it. I know it's a bad joke. And then, like, right afterwards, I'm like, that's an uncle joke, but still, I can't resist.
You can't resist.
Can't resist it for some reason.
It's too entertaining.
It is.
Do it to a 5-year-old.
Yeah. It's irritating. But he's got that saying I taught him to deal with Coach Kevin when Kevin was like messing with them. They're like, I'm not falling for it. So he's gotten pretty good about like recognizing when he's starting to get angry and recognizing when someone's messing with him. And then he's like, I'm not falling for it. But there'll be times though when like I'm serious, you know, I'll be telling him to do something or whatever, and he'll be like, I'm not falling for it. And I'm like, no, this isn't like, I'm not messing with you, like for real. Like this is what's happening.
It's pretty funny. Like I could see that coming to backfire pretty, especially as smart as he is. Dude.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's.
I could definitely see that little kid, like if it was something he didn't want to do, thinking to himself, well, if I can just pretend this is a joke and not fall for it, I might not have to do this.
Right.
I could definitely see his little brain.
Well, yeah. Well, he's like, he equates it to like, well, if someone's irritating me, I'm not going to fall for it. And if you're telling me to do something that I don't want to do, you're irritating me. So I'm not going to fall for it. So it makes me laugh when he does it. But yeah, so anyways, man. So did you see EBI 15 yet?
I did not, man.
No?
I haven't turned my TV on in a while.
Yeah, I watched a couple matches last night.
It was the lightweights, featherweights?
Lightweights, yeah.
There was, I saw some of the highlights now because Like, Gio made it to the finals, right?
Yeah.
And then he got beat by one of the Danaher guys.
Yeah, another like last minute step in because Eddie Cummings wasn't able to wrestle. He got sick, and so he's Eddie's training partner. Was his name John Calistine, I think, and another one of those like less than like 24 hours notice. Like, hey buddy, you're up. You're wrestling tomorrow, and came in and won it. So
that's awesome.
Dude, I know, but something's going on there.
I love the fact that the Danaher Death Squad is kicking the shit out of the Eddie Bravo. Like, I really like that, man. I don't know why I like it, such a kick out of that, but I do.
I don't like it because it seems like, again, I just keep up with the BJJ rumor sites when I'm in the bathroom and got a minute to spend on it. But it seems like there's some beef starting to develop a little bit because, like, Gordon Ryan's talking trash about, freaking some of the 10th Planet guys, and they're talking trash back. And so, to me, I'm glad there's a rivalry. Like, I think it's really crazy because I'm sure, like, Eddie never envisioned when he started the EBI that he was creating a stage for this other drama team, team, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he knew there was going to be competition, but I'm pretty sure that he was confident that, like, the 10th Planet guys were going to do very well,
which they are,
which they have, but the Danaher Death Squad's won way more than 10th Planet guys have. And so, especially when you throw in just how crazy it is, like Gordon Ryan coming in, his first match was like a last minute thing for the Absolutes, and John Calistine now coming in, and so there's there's definitely been a level of success that these guys have had that the 10th Planet guys haven't had, and but this is like the Eddie Bravo Invitational, so it's I think it's cool. I'm glad to see that there's that rivalry there because I think it pushes the sport forward. I just hope it doesn't degenerate into just like a fucking stupid beef over it, because
I don't think it will. I don't know. I guess it's possible. You never really.
We got young dudes and egos, man.
But if you got some mastermind at the helm like John Danaher, he can probably, like, if shit's getting squirrely. Yeah. I would imagine he would talk to his guys and be like, all right.
Yeah.
Let's dial this back a bit. We're fucking the sport up. We're fucking the art up. I don't know. That's me being hopeful. But, what's funny is, so we talked about the drama of that one 10th Planet black belt not getting recognized anymore.
Yeah.
So he put a big article up on, like, Jiu-Jitsu Times or something. Yeah, his side of the story. Again, I haven't read, like, the Denny Prokopos or Propokos, whatever the fuck his name is. I haven't read his side of the story yet.
Yeah.
But this guy's side of the story was, seemed pretty, like, straightforward, and like he was really forthcoming with it. Like, hey man, here's the situation.
Yeah.
And I think it's just the timing of it, man. This situation came up. I'm reading that book, Anti-Fragile, and the only reason I can see, like, the 10th Planet guys getting mad at this dude, because the guy didn't train with that Marvin Castile a lot. Like, he'd met the guy, maybe trained with him once or twice.
Yeah.
And then he was over helping, like, that guy's opponent. So it's not like he had some deep inside secrets to this guy's game.
Right, he talked about that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that being said, like, why are you so worried about it? Like, just be better at jiu-jitsu, man. Like, I think if you're trying to build your game on parlor tricks and you're worried that someone's going to find out your parlor tricks and stop it, then you get fucking worried.
Yeah, but I don't think that's it.
I think there's a little bit of that there. I think there might be a little something to that.
Well, I think there's two things there. One, it's not just that. You know what I mean? There's no way that there's no other beef behind the scenes. There's no other tension. There's no other just kind of like drama or history or something like that. Like, it's just been like fucking roses and unicorns with everybody. And all of a sudden this came up. And then they're just like, we're just not going to recognize your fucking black belt, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't think that's the situation. I think this was,
a long time
proverbial straw that broke the camel's back sort of thing. And it's not, like I said, I can see their side of the argument. Like I said, it is a 10th Planet black belt. And so you can argue some sort of loyalty to the system, if not the individual. Like, I agree with you, like, knowing the individual himself
that would
in his game,
yeah,
that makes it different. But I can also see their just standpoint. It's not like parlor tricks. It's just, this is our tribe, bro. Like, this is our system. This is our tribe. And if you are helping the enemy in any way against a member of our tribe, that can be viewed as disloyalty. And that since it is a 10th planet black belt, basically saying like, you're a member of our tribe, I think it's totally legit for them to say we're not recognizing you as a member of our tribe anymore because of, said infractions. And so, like I said, like but like you said, I think that there's a little bit of like the Anti-Fragile book, like they're kind of fragilizing the system a hair by doing that, because now you're discouraging people from training with other people and other groups, because if they are in some way, going against a 10th planet guy, it can be viewed as disloyalty. And so I can see how that can become a slippery slope. I mean, that's how that whole shit started with, like, you don't train at any gym but your own, because it's just viewed as disloyalty to go outside of your gym or your system. And so I think that held the sport back for a long time. So I think it's great that we're, more open and people can train different teams, and it's just not the whole like Creonte thing like there used to be. But so I can see it both ways, but I still see, like, yeah, I can see the 10th planet side of it. It makes sense to me from their point of view. It's not one of these things where I'm just like, man, I just can't fucking get it. Like, I can squint my eyes sideways and turn my head all that I want, but I still just can't quite see it. But I'm almost there. Like, there's a tiny sliver of me that gets their side, a tiny bit. But even if it's just 1%, you know what I mean?
But yeah, the other 99% of me.
Now, it doesn't say I agree with them. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. But again, like, if I knew everything that they knew, I might be different. I might think differently and agree with it.
Yeah, because we don't know any of the backstory.
Exactly. Like,
I only read that guy's rebuttal, his article. I don't know. I mean, there could be so much more shit going on there.
Yeah.
And so I'm forming my opinion just on the surface information that I have.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you're saying, like, whose side are you on, and I'm like, just from what I know, like, I'm on old boy's side. I think they're being a little petty about it, and I don't really fully understand it. But so yeah, like, that's where my vote would go if we were just voting on what was going on.
Because the state of
I can see the other argument.
Yeah, the state of jiu-jitsu right now is great, and it's because most schools are very open-minded nowadays.
Yeah,
there's not a big deal just to go cross-train.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing.
It just makes everybody better. And so,
and if you mention that, they'd say like that wasn't our message. Yeah. But that's why it becomes a slippery slope, because that's the slippery slope that ends up in that message.
Yep.
So, Anyways, fragilize the system, man.
Don't fragilize it.
Don't fragilize it, man.
Fragilize the system.
The more you fragilize it, the harder it's going to break. It's like it's easier to let things break a little bit over time and grow from it, rather than try to prevent any breakages, because then when it breaks, it's no good.
No good.
Yeah.
Breaks in a bad way.
Yeah. So where are you at in that book? How are you?
I started. It's not only my reading.
It's kind of all over the place.
It is, dude. That book is all over the place. I'm halfway through.
Yeah.
Give or take. Dude, great book. I'm really liking it, but the dude's style of writing is different. It's way different than any book I've ever read.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah,
just because I don't know, like, obviously I don't know the dude. He seems wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Like, maybe that's what it is. Like, the way he's expressing himself, it seems logical to him.
Right.
But to a meathead like me, it's like, man, how did he go from here to here? Like, I got to reread shit sometimes. I'm like, like, I'll be in the middle of reading something, and I'll be like, how the fuck did I get here? Right. Where did this transition?
It's like a Simpsons episode. Yeah. You're like, wait a minute. The introduction has nothing to do with where we're at.
Yeah, so I'll back up a page or two, like, okay, here's where a little turn shifted, and now I'm down this path. Like, sometimes you don't get those little turns.
Yeah.
So, but it's good, man. I like it.
Yeah. Have you gotten to the part where he talks about, like, tinkerers and their role in innovation versus science?
Yep, that's about where I'm at right now, honestly.
Yeah, the myth of science, man, is a really big one, and it's something that so many people aren't really aware of, is that like science is nowhere near as instrumental in discovering things as science likes to lead you to believe. That a lot of the great discoveries have been made by tinkerers who are outside of the system in science, and it was that ability to think differently. Because, man, to be a member of science, again, like people call it the new modern religion, and in a lot of ways it is. And it's like, if you want to be a member of the science intelligentsia, and be respected by them, there's certain things you have to subscribe to. There's certain points of view that you have to agree to in order for everyone to be like, yeah, okay, he's cool, he can be, one of us. But that's the thinking that stagnates, whole systems and, areas and everything. And so, but yeah, that's the...
It's funny you bring that up, because that's actually, I think that's right about where I'm at. And I wrote something down that I got from there. He said is, part of what makes, that system fragile is what you just said. Like, you're expected to subscribe to a certain way of thinking, and there's certain things that are kind of like constants.
Right.
And if you don't, you're not in our tribe.
Right.
And so that line of thinking, it leads it to be fragile, and that's where the tinkerers make it not fragile. And then he said something to the effect, this is me probably putting in my own words, but like, you have to try to prove yourself wrong.
Right, yes.
All the time.
Oh, dude.
And he said that's where a lot of, the science community fails, is they don't like trying to prove. I mean, they're obviously, I'm not a freaking scientist, and so...
There's outliers, right? But in general, I've found this to be completely true.
People don't like to try to prove themselves wrong, because it's uncomfortable.
No.
Because then you got to go back.
They're trying to prove themselves right.
And that's why the system gets super fragile really
it's very
quick.
Easy to just interpret data the way that you want, kind of see what you want. But if you're going into it trying to prove yourself wrong, then it's a totally different mindset. And what you come out with on the other side is a lot stronger and more robust than what you had. Yeah, it's funny, man, with mountain biking. Like, I've had a couple times where, like an oval chain ring, for example, like there was a really bad iteration back in the day called BioPace that Shimano had come up with, and it really turned everybody off. And then there were these new ones coming out, and people were, riding them, and I thought they sucked, right? And so, but I was like, but I can't really say that they suck and be objective about it unless I try it. So like I tried it just to try to prove myself wrong, but I was like, man, even if I just ride it so that I can just say, yeah, I tried it and it still sucks. But but going into it, like trying to prove myself wrong rather than prove myself right, led me to realize like, oh shit, well, this is pretty good. Like, I was wrong this whole time. And instead of just like doubling down on like, no, this is why I was right and why this sucks and why you don't need it. And yeah, dude, it's a crazy difference in the mindset. And that's just funny you mentioned that, man. That is probably the number one problem that people run into, whether they're starting a business or they have an idea for something, is they don't try to prove themselves wrong. And that's the great thing about jiu-jitsu, right? Like, jiu-jitsu, the mats don't lie, right? Like, you get proved wrong all the time.
Whether you're trying to get proved wrong or not.
Right. You don't, but it's just part of the system. Like, that's what makes jiu-jitsu, again, like this great idea of meritocracy, because the mats are always trying to prove you wrong, always. And so if you've got something that just, it's not working, like, you can't deny it. It's not working. If you got something that is working, well, it's because the mats try to prove you wrong and it still works. So you know that it's solid. You know that it's going to, help. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's such a great book, man.
That's why I really like that. They're trying to prove yourself wrong in the jiu-jitsu context.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yep.
If you're training with that mindset, like, you're gonna have nothing but growth. Like, it can't hurt you. Like, it's not gonna hurt you.
Dude, you always got to be. It's such a fine line between confidence and doubt, right? And like, you have to have confidence in yourself. It is part of what you need to be good at it. But yeah, you should always be doubting yourself. Like, is my success a house of cards? Like, is there a giant glaring hole that I don't have? And you're always just trying to analyze your game and prove to yourself like why your game sucks. Like, where's the hole? What am I, not doing well? So rather than just stroking your ego all the time and tapping out white belts and just being like, dude, I'm fucking awesome. I'm awesome. My triangles are unstoppable. Or you can't get tapped out by fucking higher belts.
Oh, Jesus. That's
Anyways, the delusions that people have from time to time when they're not trying to prove themselves wrong. So
it's more comfortable, man.
Yeah. It's actually like that whole like outside thinking. That's one of the things about Einstein, that it's actually one of the worst rumors. It's crazy that people think that Einstein was a terrible student and he didn't get good grades, and that he was a great student. The thing is he refused to toe the line, and he had these thoughts that went against the mainstream, and he was basically punished by the system for not adhering to the way that they wanted him to think. They literally banished him to working as a patent clerk because he could not get his doctorate. He couldn't get an appointment somewhere because he had these radical ideas on, light and time and, all these things. And he refused to change his mind. And so he was actually an outside tinkerer. He's working in this, patent office outside the system, tinkering with these problems. And then he's the one who, discovers relativity and changes, physics as we know it. But, he
didn't fit into their mold.
He didn't fit into their mold. It wasn't until after he was proved right. And, again, science for once, like that was a time when they were trying to prove him wrong, and he was trying to prove himself wrong as well. And they couldn't prove him wrong. And it was only after that he became Einstein the genius. Like up until that point, he was kind of Einstein the outcast, the guy who just didn't quite get it. And so, same thing with flight. Like the Wright brothers were fucking bike mechanics outside of science, man. There were whole, men of science devoted to this flight problem.
And, I can see just two brothers out there that loved riding bikes, like, man, let's put some wings on this fucker. If we can go fast enough, we might be able to get it off the ground.
Man, yeah.
I can totally see like a couple of guys like you and I doing something dumb like that. At the time, it seems dumb and crazy, but
they were able to think outside the system. They weren't restrained by science, and it wasn't. A lot of times, it's that thing he talks about it called what do you call it? Like lecturing birds on how to fly.
Yep.
Right? So science comes and studies how birds fly, and then you get these men of science who understand how birds fly, so they start a lecture series on how birds fly, and birds take the class, and then they fly. And then so obviously science taught the birds how to fly because science understands it and does lectures on it, and so therefore they must have discovered it and done it. But that's not what happened. It was already going on. Science comes in after the fact most of the time and studies it, and then tries to learn from it. They don't discover it. They didn't create flying. They just studied it. But the story, science gets gets more credit because of the way the story appears. It's like the old thing, like history belongs to the conquerors, right? Like right now, science gets to write history. Like they are the conquerors of history in some ways. So they get to distort their role in the whole system, which just leads people to these false, that they see a study and they don't understand how science really works. And so you see a study that says that eggs will kill you, right? And then all of a sudden it's like eggs are bad for you, and then saturated fat is bad for you. You know what I mean? Like that's where these gross misunderstandings stem from, is because the public doesn't understand the stuff and they just have faith that no, science discovers these things and science is doing these things, and there's men in lab coats out there just working feverishly on discovering these things, not realizing like, no, these guys have to get grants to do this stuff. You know how you get grants? You study stuff that's popular, and because that's where the money's at. And you know what you come up with? You come up with popular findings, because then that's people want to fund something that's popular and has a popular finding,
because then it gets clicks,
and then it gets then it gets
headlines and clicks, and it just snowballs.
I mean, it's so anyways, there's a whole game, the whole monetary game that drives science as well, that a lot of people don't realize. So again, this isn't saying that science is bad, right? It's just when the pendulum is swung so far one way, like science is infallible, you almost have to come across a little bit like anti-science to get the damn fucking pendulum to come somewhere back into the middle. And so I'm in no way anti-science. Like science has definitely done some great things, and there's definitely been discoveries that scientists have made, but there's more to the story. So, anyways, and that's why I love that book, man. Like, it just really lays it out. Like, no, this is the truth. It's tinkerers and people who think outside the system who generally change the systems, and then they eventually become the system themselves, and then the process repeats. Like, that's, unfortunately, one day the rebels are going to find themselves running the show. They're going to be the people that they were rebelling against.
You think so?
That's how it always works, man.
I was...
Lessons of history.
Well, like what you were talking about, and then, this section of the book I'm reading, and I was actually just thinking about this the other day, is that, about talking about people not fitting into the mold, so then they're considered bad students. Well, if you look at, like, a lot of the way the public education system is set up, they're just stuffing people into molds, and they're trying to create factory workers. And it's like they want to desensitize kids to having to do shit that they don't want to fucking do.
Yes.
And, like, they just have to accept that that's part of life. Like, I agree that there is a certain amount of that in your life. You have to do things you don't want to do.
There's a difference between discipline and just letting your soul be crushed.
Yes, just that cheese grater on your soul.
Yes.
Just grinding you every day.
Yep.
And that's really what the education system is. And unless you fall in line, punch the clock, shut up, sit down, and do your fucking homework.
They want to make you agreeable.
Yes. Unless you're doing that, dude, you are the outcast.
Yes.
And so then it's super frustrating because I'm a product of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm still punching the clock every goddamn day. And I'm slowly starting to see the light. I'm not sure where the tunnel goes, but there's something there. But anyways, it's a different fucking podcast. But, like, is that ever going to change? And I don't understand, like in school, you have your basic, you got your math, your history, your science, yada, yada. But, like, why don't they have shit that is more useful and mandatory? Like, okay, obviously, well, I won't even start there. Like, they should be mandatory for kids to have, like, a debate class to learn how to, like, okay, you have to take this side of the argument, you have to take this. I know they offer those, but they're not mandatory.
Right.
Have, like, a mandatory debate class. The kids formulate ideas and share them with each other. A mandatory speech class, being able to speak in front of people is a super important skill.
Yeah.
Like, instead of just droning on about fucking chlorophyll and got some goddamn fucking science class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a kid just checks out. If you make a kid go to debate class, public speaking, obviously you got to do your basics. You learn some history and some math. Have a, like, mandatory wrestling or gymnastics program. Like, one of the two. Like, you motherfuckers are going into gymnastics or you're going into wrestling. Yeah. Obviously jiu-jitsu, but you know what I mean?
Like Jim Cotta, bro.
Yeah. A little of both.
Okay.
We looked that up the other last
That's
time.
That's right. That's an old movie.
That is, like, the mid-'80s terrible martial arts movie. But, yeah, if we had, like, if shit got changed and we started doing that for our kids, like, I think that would be the answer, but I don't know if that'll ever happen, man. Like, I don't have faith in that ever happening.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's tough. I'm actually going through that right now with Shiloh because Shiloh's in 7th grade, and I'm pulling her out of school next year. I'm doing homeschool
again because you guys did homeschool for a little bit, right?
We homeschooled for a bit. We weren't in a good. It didn't work out with Z was brand new. I mean, and he was just way more of a handful than we'd ever anticipated. And so it just wasn't good. We weren't able to put the time. She did well, but we weren't able to put the time into it that we had originally planned. And so now things are a little bit different. But, man, I realized, I told Shiloh the other day, like, I realized that I failed you in a lot of different ways. And, one of them is just, school has just made you agreeable.
I think that's their goal, dude.
It is their goal.
Because, like, schools have your curriculum. And then they have this hidden curriculum.
Oh yeah, they're trying to teach you psychologically. I told you before, like having homework, like they're training you from day one that even when you're gone, this isn't your time. You belong to us. Yep. Even when you're at home on quote unquote your time, you still belong to us because you got homework that you have to do. And if you don't, we're not going to pay you with the A or grade that you need, that we're telling you that, if you don't get this grade, the whole future isn't going to work out for you. It's like retirement, right? They're like, if you don't punch this clock and do this thing, this magical thing in the future, retirement isn't going to fucking work out for you. And so they scare kids with this, your future, this is for your future. And if you don't do what we tell you, we're not going to give you the grade that you need to have a future. And they're mentally fucking training them.
It is.
To not think for themselves, to be afraid to stand up for what they think and what they really believe. And, you know, I told you I was one of those kids in high school. I got like a 2.6 GPA and like a 1200 on my SAT. And, you know, just walked out with a big middle finger to all the fucking counselors who are like, well, we better get ready for junior college. Not that there's anything wrong with junior college, but the point is like, no. You motherfuckers just didn't realize, like, your system sucks ass. It's not that, like, I wasn't smart. Like, I'm fucking smart. Your system sucks ass. And I refused to play your game, and I paid the price for refusing to play your game through these grades, which obviously were fucking not reflective.
But you only paid the price in their system.
Right, in their system, but that's just it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, your system obviously wasn't reflective of what I was actually learning and taking and getting from my time there, because this test obviously shows that, like, I'm fucking got a lot more going on upstairs than your 2.6 GPA would seem to indicate, right? And so, yeah, it was just, high school, man. I know. I fucking drove me nuts.
It's funny that you and I were, you know, on the other side of the country going through high school, but I was the same way, man. Like, honestly, dude, like, from like halfway through my junior year to senior year, I never took a book home. Like, yeah, they'd give me homework, and I was like, eat a dick. I am not doing homework. I wouldn't study for tests. I didn't do shit. I'd still pull off B's, C's, sometimes A's. Right. Like, if I liked the subject, it really clicked with me. Like, I could pull off an A. Like, they're not, I mean, they ain't teaching us a bunch of real difficult shit. No. If you semi-pay attention, you can play their game. And you can game the system.
Game the system. That's what I learned from high school is how to play the game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I learned. I
game the system,
I gamed the system. Dude, it was so bad. Like, I remember, like, at the end of my senior year when you got to, like, turn in all your books and shit, I didn't even know the combination of my school locker. Because I hadn't gone to my locker in so long to get out books. Because I never even took books to class. I had to go get the janitor to open my locker so I could turn my books in. I didn't know. I was like, I couldn't remember my locker number. Then I sorted that out. And I was like, dude, I don't know how to get into this fucking thing. And I had to get the janitor to get in, get all my books so I could go turn them in. Like, I didn't have a backpack. I remember my parents asking me, like, how come you don't ever have homework? I was like, psh, whatever. I get my shit done.
I get it done.
My dad's just like, please graduate.
Just graduate.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
And I graduated. I wasn't the valedictorian, I can tell you that. But
yeah. I know, man. It's funny, though. But yeah, that's school does, man. They want to make agreeable little fucking people to punch the clock. And,
that's exactly what it is, dude.
And be trained and get up early. And when you go home, it's not your time. It's crazy. Now that I look at it and I kind of realize, like, wow, the psychological messages that are being delivered, either like overtly, like consciously or unconsciously, whether they're doing it on purpose or not. But man, it's not good. It's not good. So yeah, no, I'm pulling her out. We're gonna homeschool her next year, and exactly what you said, man. She's gonna be doing, she's some sort of public speaking or debate. Like, you need to learn how to communicate effectively. Be concise with your speech, as old Jordan Peterson would say. Finish that book.
Did you? I'm so excited to read that book.
Yeah, super good. I want to read it again, but I got another book I got to read first. But yeah, I'm gonna rip through it again. But it was real good. But yeah, like, being precise in your speech is super important. It's a very important skill. Like you said, like physical attributes, being physically able to run, jump, throw, climb. Like, these are just basic human movement skills that a useful human should have, right? Like, it's not being addressed very effectively in schools.
Sorry to interrupt, but speaking of that, you just saying that got me fired up. I saw an article the other day that the United States Army is taking away, like, the requirement of our soldiers to have to throw a grenade or something. I can't remember the exact. Like, I saw it, I read it now, because basically you have to be able to throw the grenade far enough so you don't fucking blow yourself up, or blow your fellow soldiers up.
Yeah.
Well, they were finding so many recruits didn't have the ability. And it was to throw the grenade far enough.
Couldn't throw.
So instead of, making us tougher society, they're nixing it. I don't know what their choices, what their options are going to be, if they're going to start issuing slingshots for fucking grenades or something. But, like, the requirement is like 25 yards. Or it was meters. It was in meters.
Basically, 25 meters.
75 feet, right? 80 feet. Let's just say 90 feet. You can't throw a grenade fucking 100 feet?
Yeah.
That is not that far.
No.
Now, you don't have to be that accurate with a goddamn grenade.
No.
I'm not saying you got to be Peyton Manning hitting somebody in the numbers.
Right.
At fucking, at 25 yards.
It's a problem.
So you're telling me all these soldiers coming, like, they're spending so much goddamn time playing fucking video games and being lazy fucks when they're kids, and they go to get in the army, they can't throw a goddamn grenade 25 meters?
Now, hold on. Now, this is, I don't know. This is, are the requirements different for men and women?
That, I don't know.
Because there may be some sort of, like, to encourage more women who generally can't throw as far as men. There may be some, you know what I mean? Like, if your pool of recruits is one getting more out of shape and not able to throw, but two, you're trying to artificially inflate your pool of recruits with a group that traditionally can't throw as far, then, you know what I mean? Then you're going to have to kind of lower your standards to appeal to this new recruiting pool that you're trying to create.
So you're saying that you think it's possibly they drop that standard so they get more women in the service?
Yep. I mean, out of 100 women,
I didn't think about that.
Out of 100 average women, I would say that you're going to find a far fewer percentage of them who can meet that requirement 25 versus
meters.
Men.
25 meters, man.
Yep.
That's
Dude, you'd be shocked.
80 feet, roughly.
You'd be shocked, man. I'll guarantee you, if you grab most girls that you know, who, especially if they weren't athletic, because that's the problem, right? Like, you got to remember, like, boys are more likely to have been playing sports, and they're also more likely to have played a sport that included throwing and overhand throwing, especially. And so you just have a lot less opportunities for girls to develop that skill. And like I said, traditionally they don't have the same upper body strength. But yeah, if you grabbed your average girl, man, and told her to, like, here's a grenade, I need you to throw it 25 meters, I think you'd be shocked at how few of them would be able to consistently fulfill that. And I may be completely wrong. I may be just a fucking sexist asshole right now.
So I maybe that is the case. Okay, whatever. Fuck it. I don't care either way. But guess what? Then they don't get to be foot soldiers, because we need some tough motherfuckers out there fighting our wars.
I understand.
Let them go sit in a desert in Nevada and fly a goddamn
drone. That's what
happens
when you try to engineer an army through with politicians.
We can't do that.
No, that's a huge problem.
We can't. Hey, man, especially our armed forces, our armed services, man. We can't lower our standards there, dude. We don't want equality of outcome there. We want the baddest, toughest motherfuckers out there.
Someone who can throw a fucking grenade.
We want someone that can throw a grenade and bust some ass. And if you can't throw a grenade, guess what? You don't get to be a soldier.
Yeah.
You can go run the stock room if you want to be in the fucking service.
Yeah.
But if you're not physically capable of kicking someone's ass,
and
throw a grenade, fuck it.
Yeah, and just for the record, I'm sure there's a lot of dudes who are contributing to this problem as well.
But I think that's where I would assume, that was my assumption, is that where it lies. Is that a lot of this younger generation coming up is just a bunch of weak bitches.
Man, I don't know, dude. That just seems like a really... Yeah, I don't know.
See, I didn't even think about it like that.
That just seems like a really weird standard to drop. It seems like...
It
seems like you'd still be able to find enough guys who could pull that off, that you wouldn't have to, like, drop that standard to... And if just... Again, I'm sure I'm probably underestimating the effect of, the current generation and their physical capacities, but to me it just, I don't know, that just seems really weird. It seems like there's something bigger going on there, because
I didn't even think about that. That makes sense.
And again, like, I'm with you, man. I think it's a quality of opportunity that you're looking for, and you need to set standards that will keep people alive. And, like, that's the thing. Like, you don't want to have a weak link on a team, because you'll get people killed. It may not even be you. You'll get other people killed trying to take care of the weak link in the team. And so you need to have a standard set for what is the weakest link that we can have in a team, and not have them put other people at risk. And then, okay, now we have this, everyone can try out, but the outcome is not the same. And, I would not be shocked at all if we were trying to engineer a little bit of equality of outcome with that rule change to tilt things towards the current, feminazi mindset that pervades some of society. So I could be completely wrong, because I love to see deeper conspiracies and everything. Like that missile launch on Hawaii, man, I'm convinced there was no fucking dude who accidentally sent a text out. No, man, no way. Like something got launched and we shot that motherfucker down.
You think so?
Yeah, and we just realized that not 100. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's fun to think about, and like honestly, like you're gonna, if people really knew that a nuclear missile was launched and got shot down,
the panic that would ensue,
it would. But our response would have to be completely different than if it was an accidental text that was sent out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So same panic. Everything happened the same, but it's just okay. The story that's told is going to dictate our response. And do we really want to get into a fucking, dick measuring contest right now with Kim Jong-un or whichever one it is? I don't give a fuck. And by even trying to care, I'm giving that dude too much credit. But, and they're like, nope. So guess what? Oh, text got sent out wrong and took us forever. We'll just eat it. We'd rather eat shit on that. It's like you're talking about the fracking thing, right? Yep. That's the fracking. Yeah. We'd rather them get mad at us over our warning system, and we'll defend that and eat shit on that, so that you guys don't know what really happened. Yeah. So I can see it. I can see that happening.
That's gonna fuck me up for the rest of the day thinking about that. I like conspiracy theories. I spend very little mental resources on them. Like they're to me, they're kind of entertaining.
Right, yeah.
But that's it, dude. Like, I don't dig into them, read into them. Like, I don't have enough time.
Right.
I got to do productive
I'm not doing research on these things. These are more just fun mental exercises.
Just little mental exercises.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that. Like, I just took it at face value. They told me it was a text mistake.
Oh, the man. You just believe the man.
I just believe the man. And now I'm thinking, man, they really shot something down. Why did they lie to us? God damn it.
I got
a 4-hour drive to Denver today. I'm going to be thinking about that for 3.5 of those hours.
I would say that's like I'd say there's a 10% possibility, which for me is pretty high on my cockamamie conspiracy theories that I have fun with. But
good.
Yeah, so
I like it.
There you go, dude.
I like it.
So, all right, man. What, dude. Sorry, I got one for you.
Bro science, where are we going?
Oh, man. I just got to throw this out there just because I want to hear and see your response to it. What are your thoughts on energy cleanings for a house? Energy clearings.
Energy clearings for the house?
Yes, having an energy clearing for your house. What are your thoughts?
I think...
Now, before you answer, let me add one more thing.
Okay.
It's over the phone.
I think if you are willing to pay someone to do
$200
to do an energy clearing of
over
your house
the phone
via the phone, you deserve whatever comes to you. I'll just leave it at that.
All right. That was a lot more subdued than I was.
I don't want to. I don't want to get too fired up.
No, I know, man. It's one of those that you almost have to subdue your response.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's so goddamn stupid. I can't get that fired up about it. Like if someone suckered you out of $200 for that, good on them. And you're an idiot.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I
hope you didn't pay for that.
No, not me personally. No. I happen to know.
Do you know somebody personally that
vicariously? Yes.
Do you really?
So
someone I know also.
No. It's not a gym person.
I was hoping.
I'd be calling them out if it was a gym person. No, it's one of my wife's friends who never listens to this podcast. I'm not gonna name names or anything like that. But yeah, Kiele told me about it, and I just fucking died laughing. Like I almost for a second was like, all right, because I have this thing, man. I say it a lot. Like, hey, man, if somebody hands you, sells you 3 magic beans, and you think they're magic beans, like they might be magic beans, man. Like who am I to fucking argue with that, right? So, you want an energy clearing of your house and it's going to make you feel better about it. Okay, cool. I can almost see it. But I'm thinking like someone's coming into the house, man. They're burning some sage.
Oh, yeah.
Playing a didgeridoo. You know what I mean? Like something.
Playing a didgeridoo.
Something that like, you've never had someone fucking clear your energy with a didgeridoo?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, I have.
Have you?
I've hung out in some hippie circles, bro. So it's but anyway,
I think the energy I put off
keeps those people away.
Keeps me out of those circles.
You would blow somebody's didgeridoo up.
Yeah. If you come up to me with wood beads and a didgeridoo, I'm shoving that fucking didgeridoo up your ass. If you're trying to clear my chakras with that fucking didgeridoo.
So, but anyways, man, like I said, I was like, all right, I think it's silly, but I could almost see it. But then she adds in like, it's over the phone. The person's in another state.
Oh my God.
They sent her pictures.
Are they at least okay, let me ask this. Are they at least doing it like FaceTime or Skype?
I think it's just over the phone.
Straight up over the phone.
I think so. They sent them pictures of the house. So they have an idea of the house and they're going to be able to do the energy clearing of the house through the pictures over the phone.
Jesus Christ.
So that one I was like, that's not even a handful of magic beans. That's just straight up fucking turds that someone's trying to sell you, and you're just eating them. Like,
man, like, does that person really believe they're doing this, or is this the con man of all con mans just making $200 a pop?
Dude, I don't know.
Does he really know, or he or she, whatever this person is? Jesus Christ, man. There's a lot of dumb fucking people out there.
There are, man. There are. When I was in Santa Barbara, out on Stearns Wharf, there's a, which isn't cheap real estate, there's a fucking psychic lady, the palm reader psychic, straight up, storefront, madam whatever, clairvoyant. And that thing's been there for at least 20 years. Like, it was there when I was living there. And Keely and I have been married for 17 years. And so, yeah, I mean, dude, fucking 2 decades. This place has survived. And out on Stearns Wharf, it's like, she's obviously making money. Like, she's telling enough people's fucking futures and fortunes to pay the rent. And yeah, it's funny, dude. Some people just need that. Like, they need something, right? Like, they need some sort of, they don't know where else to find it. And, we think it's ridiculous, but it's like they're search for some sort of like order out of chaos. Like, they don't have the tools themselves to do it. They don't understand the mechanizations, like kind of how reality works on some level. And so they feel lost. And so somebody's offering them peace of mind. Like, I will give you an answer for, take it off of you. Yeah, for a set fee. And we think it's ridiculous. But
yeah, dude, it is beyond ridiculous.
There's a deeper psychological thing. It's not just being stupid. You know what I mean? Like, there are stupid people out there, but there's a lot of intelligent people. Like, this lady is not someone, if you met, would be like, that chick's an idiot. Like, she's actually a pretty accomplished person in a couple different areas.
Anybody who's running a palm reading business that's been around for a long time.
No, I mean, like my wife's friend. You know what I mean? You wouldn't meet her. Like, she's, she's not a dumb lady.
She's not a dumb lady.
No. I mean,
I would have to. Okay. So,
no, not at all, dude. No.
So I would have to make the assumption that if anybody's going to go down that rabbit hole, like seeking out that kind of energy clearing or fucking whatever, like, they're not seeking out enough struggle in their life. Like, they need some more difficult.
They're making up struggle. They see struggle where there's not, and they don't understand how to deal with it.
They need some more physical struggle, man. Like, they need something.
Yeah.
There's a void they're trying to fill, and they're filling it by energy clearing over the phone for $200 goddamn dollars. But man, $200 gets you 2 months worth of jiu-jitsu.
Oh, jiu-jitsu will do way more for you, man.
Way more.
Clear your energy way more effectively.
Way better, dude.
Get my energy cleared nightly.
Just go to your regular jiu-jitsu school and give them $200. Tell them you want your energies aligned for the next 2 months. They square you away, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah. No, I know. It's interesting.
It is interesting. Hey, to each his own, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I said some derogatory things, stupid, but whatever. It makes you feel better if you sleep better at night because you got your energy in your house.
At the end of the day, man, that's it. It's like,
it doesn't affect me, so fuck it.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see someone get duped. That's
me too.
That's the part that bothers me.
Me too.
I don't want to see somebody piss away $200.
No,
for something like that.
But, you know.
Have you ever had a massage like that to where, like, somebody will do, like...
Oh, the Reiki, like...
Energy work. To, like, they won't even touch you. They'll just kind of, like, wave their hands over you.
Man, I haven't quite had that far. I've definitely had some massage people who are claiming some, like, energy
I think
manipulation shit.
There's a lot of massage people that do that, and that's cool. That doesn't bother me as much. Like, whatever.
Keely was reminding me, she was a massage therapist, a licensed massage therapist in California at one point. Yeah, when we first met, she did a massage school. And, like, the Reiki massage was part of it. And she was telling me this morning, I don't know how it got brought up. She's like, yeah, you remember my crazy teacher? You know, she would do that. So that's right. We were talking about the energy clearing thing and just, like, people that kind of get into that. And she said that her teacher was convinced that when she was focused just right and her energy was aligned, that she could affect the stoplights and just get all green lights on the way to the school. And no, she was convinced that she could manipulate reality on that level when her energy was aligned just so. And I'm like, it's not like the timing of the fucking stoplight. You caught it just right. And so you get to work and you're like, wow, my energy must be aligned today, you know, or you're all pissed off when you get, because you don't catch them. And so you're like, dude, obviously my energy is like off today. And I'm just like, wow, it is crazy the stories that people will tell themselves in their head to get them through the day. So
I accidentally got a massage for some chick like this one time, and at first she was starting out like a normal massage, like actually like touching me, rubbing muscles and shit, like a massage should be.
Right.
And then she starts like hovering her hands over me and asking me questions, and I looked at her, I was like, that shit ain't gonna work for me. Like, I'm here to get a massage.
Yeah, you
like,
touch me.
Yeah, like if you can't rub the muscle, like this shit is over. Like you are not.
I don't need an aura rub.
Yeah. I don't need a fucking chakra massage or whatever the fuck you're doing. Like, well, yeah.
Dude, we've both been to old Bing Lee.
Oh yeah.
And he'll sit there and like rub his little thing
got
on
that,
his belt.
that circular thing.
Yeah. And just kind of like, you know, hover his hand over you and then tell you that you need more protein.
More protein, less coffee.
Yeah, or just whatever it is. It's like
that's what.
And he doesn't tell Kelly anything. That's funny. He like the couple times she's been to him, he's literally said like, "No, you're good," and she's convinced that he doesn't like her for some. You know what I mean?
Doesn't
it's
want to
like,
back.
yeah. Just get out of here. You don't need to. You're fine. Just get out. Right? It bugs her so badly. He's like, because everyone else who's gone to him comes away with some sort of like interesting recommendation. Not just hey, you need more. Like for me, it was like, oh, you need more protein, but it's like you need more specific kinds of protein. Casein and chicken or whatever it is. So and yeah, everyone that's gone to him has come away with some sort of recommendation, and she gets nothing. Both times she's been, and she's convinced. Yeah, she's like, I feel like I need to like ask, like what? How can this be? There's something wrong with me. Tell me what it is. You're holding out. But yeah. But he does, the acupuncture. But yeah, he does his little evaluation with a little just rubbing his disc and feeling the air, and then that tells him where to put the needles. Yep. And which. Again, man, I don't know if that's realigning my energy. I have a theory there, like, you can't move. Like, if you try to, like, if you get tense with a fucking needle in your muscle, like, it lets you know.
It lets you know.
Yeah. So, like, you're forced to sit there and just completely relax for, 15 minutes or whatever they got you laying there. Like, even if that's all you're getting out of it, like, there's something there, this forced relaxation, like literally.
Oh yeah, I've had
nightmares about a fire breaking out when I'm on the table.
Fuck yeah, so the exact same thing, dude. It's even worse if you go get dry needling done, because they jam the needles in there. And depending on where you go, I've had a few different styles. Like some people jam them in and leave them in for a little bit. And man, like if they start working on your back and they get some needles in there, dude, if a fire breaks out, you are Foxville.
Yeah, if they took off and left you there,
you are not moving.
No.
Dude. You are burning up with these little needles in your back, dude. Like, that's a little freaky. Yeah. So
no, I've had there's been once or twice where I've sat there and been like, man, if I had to move right now, like it would just be terrible. Yeah. I don't know if I could do it. But that forced relaxation that you get.
You get a good nap. I've had acupuncture done a half dozen times, and a couple of times at that Bing Lee, dude. And you're in there 15, 20 minutes or whatever. Man, I knock right out lots of times. Yeah. Like I just run with it and just, dude, close my eyes. Dude, I will straight up just like fall asleep, man.
Yeah. I don't quite fall asleep because I'm afraid I'll like jerk awake. Have one of those.
I twitch all the time when I'm sleeping.
Or just have one of those dreams where you think you're like doing something.
Defending an armbar and you wake up.
Needles go flying. So, all right. Well, anyways, energy and so
energy clearing, huh?
Energy clearing. Well, okay. I won't put you on their email list then.
Please don't.
I won't.
Actually, that might not be a bad idea.
I don't know if they have an email list.
Send it. I wouldn't mind fucking seeing what that was all about.
Right when I said it, I started thinking like that would actually be interesting.
That would be.
What would an energy clearer's fucking email look like?
I think I need to have my car energy cleared.
Yes, I'd probably
could do
dude.
that.
I'll bet there's enough. Yeah. For $200,
be a little cheaper. The house is $200, so if I get my car done for like $75,
it's a specialized
clearing,
bro.
It's a lot smaller, though.
Specialized clearing,
less energy though.
But it moves around more, and so it's having to interact with more different spirits that you're gonna have to clear. The house is here.
I've had more people in my car than
exactly.
House.
You got to deal with all their energy. Way more energy surrounding a car than a house.
So it'd be way more expensive.
Way more expensive. Of course, I guess it depends on how like old your house is. If you're like living in a castle. I'm sure. Oh, what would an energy clearing on a castle cost? Anyways, all right.
I don't have a castle.
Okay.
But anyways, back to the real world.
Back to the real world.
Did you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with David Goggins on there?
No.
Ooh.
What's he doing?
If you want to get fucking pumped up and just motivated, do you know who he is?
Recent one or?
Yeah, just this week.
Okay, no, I'm on the depression one with.
That
Joni,
the journalist,
yeah,
that's a good one.
It's pretty interesting.
I liked it.
Yeah,
it gets better. Like the first hour or so, there's like a feeling out process between like Joe's trying to figure this guy out and letting him rant a little bit.
He's got a little bit of a salesy, his way of talking and explaining things is very quick.
Yeah,
and it seems a little like you're hitting these talking points, and there's a little bit of a. And so I can kind of feel like he's genuine with what he's saying, but like his delivery, he delivers like a pitch man.
Yeah.
And
fast.
And a pitch man automatically to me, I get like, I start sending a warning like, okay, what do I need to be careful of here? And so.
That's the beauty of those long form conversations.
Yeah.
Because a pitch man is only going to be good at that shit for about an hour. And then when people start asking questions and digging into it, it breaks down.
Yeah,
that podcast gets really good. Like an hour or so in, if I remember right, it's good.
I'm enjoying it so far. But anyway, so no, what's David's deal?
Do you know who he is?
I might. I might be one of those people that I know, but I don't know that I know.
Like, I don't know a ton about him. You see him a bunch on social media and shit. He was like a former Navy SEAL, one of these ultra marathon dudes who, like the big ones, the 100-milers. And when he first started running 100-milers, the guy was, a fucking tank, 240 pounds, jacked.
Right.
And he's just like, I can do that. And he just went out and just broke himself like that. And dude, this guy is so like psychotic in a good way, dude. I fucking love it, man. Like
this is not what you need to be listening to, dude.
Dude, I fucking love every minute of it. Like I've listened to it twice, like just because. Oh, dude, like the shit he's willing, like he's fucked himself up. Like, he's gone to like the not healthy end of it.
Yeah.
But dude, I love that. That's fucking amazing. Like
these 1%ers, man.
Dude, I love that shit.
I hate listening to those dudes.
Dude, I love it.
I like it, but I've given up even trying to think that on any level I'm going to emulate like what they do. Like that's just not me. I'm glad those motherfuckers are there.
Yeah.
But
doesn't it give you like fire that like it's humanly possible?
No, it does.
Like he's just a human.
No, man. To be honest with you, though, I'll be totally honest with you. I think people like that are kind of stupid.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have to be.
It's like the old saying, like if you're gonna be stupid, you better be tough.
Yeah.
They're so fucking tough that allows them to be stupid, fucking stupid with what they do. And as a coach, I just know it's kind of like that curse of knowledge thing where like I know enough about what that shit really does to the body, especially long term, and having experienced some of it myself. When I was younger, I was the same thing, dude. Like fuck yeah,
more is better.
I'm gonna push through, go, and it's like, and you eventually realize like, man, there is a breaking point with that, and so.
But I still love it, dude.
No, I know. It's a yin and a yang. So I like I said, I like it too, but it doesn't get me nearly as fired up as it used to because now I'm just like, man, like some of the shit you're talking about sounds just fucking retarded.
Oh yeah, like dude, his story of the first 100-miler he ran, like I love it. I mean, he ran so hard to the point to where like he was shitting himself, pissing fucking blood. Like he stopped at like 70 miles because he'd never done it before. Like,
right.
Like this maniac, dude, I love it, dude. I call him a maniac, but I mean it in like just he's so.
You gotta be
tough.
Yeah.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
There's people out there like that. And those are the people that need to be out there throwing the fucking grenades.
Right.
I mean, that's what we need.
So I'm saying I'm glad those people are there.
Yeah, dude, and that's why I get fired up. It's like, fuck yeah, man. Because he had found this race, like this 150 miler or whatever it was, and he called the organizer of it, says, hey, I want to sign up for this shit. And the dude's like, have you ever ran one? Like, you got to qualify for this. Like, you'll die out there in the desert doing this. He's like, no, but I can fucking do it. You know, like I'm a badass. He's
right.
He went through, budge training like 3 times in a year. Like the dude's he's wired differently.
Exactly.
And so he goes out. He's like, okay, we're gonna do a 24-hour race, 100 miles, just on a track, 1 mile, like a 1 mile track or some shit. 24 hours. You gotta run for 24 hours or 100 miles. He's like, you show up, complete that. Maybe I'll let you come do our other race. So he shows up, and this fucking maniac. He goes, yep. My wife and I, we went to Walmart. I bought a box of Ritz crackers, some Myoplex, and a lawn chair. Bam! That was his recipe to fucking go run 100 miles. And he said he made it to like the 70-mile mark, and his body shut down. He sat down, pissing blood, and he's like, I got to finish it. So he got up, walked, like crawled like 10 more miles. He said he got to like the 80-mile mark, and then he's like, something just clicked. He's like, and I fucking ran the rest of those. He's like, I ran 101 miles, and like damn near died. Dude, like the fact that you can be so mentally tough to push your point, like you can literally run yourself to death.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love that there's human beings like that.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
God love them, man.
It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Shit fires me up.
That's a young man's game, too. How old is this fucker?
Oh, he's getting up there now, mid-40s.
Yeah.
He's broke himself, and he's repairing now. You know? Yeah. He's still a special person.
No, I'm not taking that away. I just there's a reason, man. Like in the Roman legions, like the 20-year-olds were on the front lines, and each line they got a little older because it was like, man, charging that fucking enemy there's a young man's game. You know, like you just see the world differently, and risk and all that's different, and then it's
There's beauty in it though.
No, there is, man. There is.
It's a good little segue. So. I got to share a conversation I had with our buddy Nate. I told you Nate's getting into powerlifting.
Yes.
So for a little context for everybody listening is a good friend of ours, training partner. He's very similar to me, maybe slightly smarter, but a lot less attractive. Well, you're out there listening, buddy.
No.
He wants to. He's sort of meatheadish, and he's getting into powerlifting, and he's like wanting to compete with it. And he's had back problems. Like the dude played rugby. Like he's been pretty physical his whole life, you know. And I don't know if he got in an accident or something, fucked his back up, but he's had back problems his whole life. But he wants to compete in powerlifting, and he's also wanting to compete in jiu-jitsu. Like he was signing up for the IBJJF in Denver in April. And I had to like talk to him. I was like, hey man, like you know as well as I do that like once you get competitive at something, the health benefits are going to drastically fucking drop. And this dude's 40 years old, 41. And I was like, I don't know how committed you are to this powerlifting thing, but it's going to fuck up your jiu-jitsu. I don't care what rationale you're telling yourself, man. And this is what I'm telling him. I was like, hey, man, you're going to fuck your jiu-jitsu up. So what's your priority? Are you trying to be Mr. Powerlifter now, or are you trying to be good at jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
He's like, well, jiu-jitsu is always number one. I was like, good. I was like, run this powerlifting shit through that filter. I was like, I know you're a pretty smart dude, so I'm not going to, talk you out of it. But I was like, being that he just told me that, like, hey, jiu-jitsu's number one, I'm hoping he'll make the right choice. But I think it was because he wants to sign up and do like a powerlifting contest too, and it's not going to be good, man.
Yeah,
I was concerned. I told him that. I was like, dude, you're going to fuck your jiu-jitsu up doing this, man. Like, to try to be competitive at two things like that.
Yeah, it's really tough.
You don't have enough time to recover. And he's got a full-time job. It's not like he's a professional athlete, man.
Right, yeah.
He's married. He got a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like, he's got other shit going on. But
yeah, I mean, we've talked about that quite a bit on the podcast about the jiu-jitsu is the most important thing that you can do for your jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And so anything that you're doing off the mat, it's not jiu-jitsu, has to support that and can't take away from it. And generally speaking, powerlifting, the benefits that you get are, because part of strength, this is the thing, is like you're gonna lose some mobility.
Oh yeah.
And it's not necessarily a bad thing from a powerlifting point of view. Like, you want a little bit, you like that stiffness helps with the strength. And so just as part of your body adapting to the specific demands of powerlifting, it will start to decrease its range of motion and get a little tighter, because that will actually help in the goal of powerlifting, which is the squat. Now, obviously, if you get too tight, it can affect your performance the other way. So there's a sweet spot, but you will be less mobile as a powerlifter. And
it's your body being smart. You can't outsmart your body. Your body, you're putting all the stress on your body. Your body starts recognizing, all right, this crazy asshole is expecting this out of me.
Yes.
For me to stay safe and healthy, I'm going to have to get tighter in these areas to protect myself.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
And that you don't see powerlifters doing a bunch of mobility work, because it's going to fuck their numbers up. They're not going to lift as much. They're not hypermobile.
Yeah, you can actually screw up an athlete by making them hypermobile.
Yep.
And because, again, like you were saying, like, once you become competitive with something, the health benefits start to go away. And that's one of the health benefits that you lose when you become competitive, is there are specific movements and specific ranges of motion that you want to be very good at in a sport, and you're going to do that at the expense of other movements and other ranges of motion. And so, it's like using a powerlifting, excuse me, like a basic, like Jim Windler had the 5-3-1 program. He was trained with Louis Simmons, kind of a West Side guy. And, you go in and you calculate a percentage of you find your 1 rep max, and then you cut that down 10%. And you use that number as your 1 rep max. And then you come in and you lift a certain percentage of that for 5 reps, and then 3 reps. And then your last set, you get at least 1, but you get as many reps as you can. And then you do that for, your big 3 lifts, and then you got some auxiliary exercises where you're doing higher reps and kind of targeting some other stuff. And it's not really done, and you cycle up, right? And so the whole idea is you're working on your comfort zone, expanding your comfort zone with the weights rather than just hammering the ceiling. If you could call that a powerlifting program on some level, it's definitely like a powerlifting template. But if you could make an argument that somebody that needs to improve their strength would get some benefit from doing that, spending some time doing that. But saying that as soon as you say, I'm going to become a power lifter, I'm actually going to compete, I'm going to circle a date on the calendar, and I'm going to set a training cycle up so that I'm going to peak on this date right here. Yeah, the stresses and the results that you're going to get are going to start being detrimental to your jiu-jitsu because they're just different. They're just different sports. So I agree, man. If you're going to compete in it, you're setting yourself up. If you're trying to get stronger, and so you're using I want to get stronger through using a powerlifting based program, like, that's a different mindset, a different thing that can fit into your overall jiu-jitsu goals. But you don't have to compete to get the benefits of a powerlifting based program. Especially if you're looking for strength. I mean, dude, honestly, if I had a jiu-jitsu guy come to me and say, and through evaluating, we figure, dude, you're just a little weak. You need to improve your strength. You throwing him on like an 8-week powerlifting, doing my air quotes thing, cycle would be a good idea. But again, we're not doing it to get him to be better at power. Yeah. Right. And we're always adjusting things in the context of his jiu-jitsu, right? Like, that's one of the things with powerlifting is, you kind of have to hit your numbers.
Yep.
There's a progression. And so there may be some days you come into the gym and you just don't quite feel it. But those are the days when you're opening yourself up to injury because you're pushing yourself because you got to hit your numbers. Whereas if you're not doing it for the powerlifting, you come in and you adjust your numbers a little bit because, you trained a little hard or you didn't sleep as well. It's not, you're not losing anything mentally, like you fuck yourself if you're like, man, if I didn't hit my numbers and I know I got this meet coming up, that's a different mentality than I didn't hit my numbers and I'm training again on Friday and I'm going to roll tonight. You know, it's not the same. So, but yeah, it's always, the goal is to keep the goal, right?
And that's why I wanted to bring it up, because it's another example of that. I think it's something we preach all the time, is keeping the goal, and we run everything through a jiu-jitsu filter.
Yeah. Yep.
And so if something's going to fuck up your jiu-jitsu, you got to assess. Man.
Yeah, I know.
Is that a goal? I mean, 'cause that's cool. If that makes you happy, you want to be Joe Blow powerlifter, fucking run with it, man.
Yeah, no, there's no judgments. But
right.
A lot of people get unhappy because they're not honest with themselves about what they really want and why they're doing things. And then they're getting results and they're like, that they're not what they want and they don't understand what's going on, and so then you end up getting an energy clearing. So
we went from trying to be a powerlifter to energy clearing.
But that's how this, you know what I mean?
That is.
It's kind of how it starts. And if you're like, that's the thing. It's not. There's no judgment. You just have to be honest.
Yep.
What is most important? Why are you doing this? Okay, so now you can react better. You can make better decisions. If you just really kind of solidify those things. I mean, we talked about that in the goals podcast. Like, you have to, think about what is my goal and why do I want it. And there's, so anyways, yeah. So I don't know, man. Nate might have a hidden career as a powerlifter.
Never know.
It's kind of like jiu-jitsu. There's enough fucking tournaments out there and enough like splitting of stuff that he can probably become world champion at something in a very short period of time.
Age and weight bracket.
Yeah. It's some obscure federation or whatever, right? Yeah. So, he can be world champion. And
I brought that up just for that.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it is. Yeah, it's a good
little like talking point. Just think about what you're doing there. If you want to be a powerlifter, like cool, pushing weight around is fun, man.
Deadlifts and squats. CrossFit. That's what gets people in trouble with CrossFit is they get into it not realizing like CrossFitters, that's their sport. And if you get caught up in doing CrossFit the same way that a CrossFitter does it, you're going to run into problems. If you're doing CrossFit as a jiu-jitsu guy and you're running what you're doing and all the things through that filter, well, you can get benefit from that style of training. So it doesn't matter what kind of training it is. It's just you can't approach it like the people who do that sport, right? Like, so, I mean, it's like we talked about with the cardio thing. Like, runners don't run to get better cardio. They run because it's their fucking sport. So you can't train like a runner to get better cardio. Like, that's not exactly the same thing. So just like if you want to get stronger, you can't train like a competitive powerlifter. Like that's a backwards mentality, kind of thing. It's like, so, but anyways, it's easy to fall in that trap. I've been there.
Oh, fuck yeah.
For sure.
I've definitely been there.
I fucked myself up before, man. Got low back, man. Threw my low back out trying to deadlift too much weight one time. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then one other thing before we get into
drilling
topic of drill or not to drill. That is the question.
It is.
But I don't expect us to dig into this. I just want to throw this out there so you can think about it. And because this might be falling into the same thing like Nate's getting out in the weeds with his powerlifting, and we as friends got to bring him back in.
That's right.
So I might be getting out into the weeds on this next thing I might try.
Okay.
I think I might try the carnivore diet. I was thinking about for the month of March.
Mediterranean?
Nothing. Yeah, Mediterranean, dude. Fucking just red meat, coffee, and jiu-jitsu.
Huh.
I was thinking about it.
I'd look into that, and here's my deal.
I was thinking about trying it just for the fuck of it.
Yeah.
See how I feel.
It seems to me like he'd have to supplement. Like, here's my deal. If you got to supplement, then I question its evolutionary validity.
What do you think you'd have to supplement? Well, we can save this for another time.
Yeah,
we'll save it for another time.
I don't know. I said like I would just encourage you to like make sure that you understand. Yeah, and see that this dude who's doing it, like, is he supplementing in any way, shape, or form? And if he is, again, I'm not saying like don't do it, but to me, like I said, it's if you're throwing a supplement in with it, then obviously there's something that the diet itself is missing that we should be trying to figure out to get it in the whole food way. So that's why I think it might be fun to play with.
According to the Sean Baker cat, the Dr. Sean Baker.
Yes.
He doesn't supplement anything.
Okay.
No supplements.
All right.
He was just on the Mind Pump podcast talking about it. He was on Joe Rogan a few weeks back. He was on Mind Pump. He's actually going to be on Rob Wolf's podcast coming up in a couple weeks, and that's like the big to do because he's releasing all his blood work.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's what everybody's been asking him. Like, hey, because that was a big thing on Joe Rogan. Like, Joe's like, you're a fucking doctor. You've been doing this diet for a year and you haven't done any blood work. And everybody was like, what the fuck? Where's your labs? We want to see your labs. And so that's now the big to-do. So he's like unveiling them on the Rob Wolf podcast in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So we'll see. But I don't know, man. I think I might try it. It sounds like a fun diet. Fuck, just eat meat all the time.
Yeah. I'd be afraid I'd get tired of meat. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, you can...
I'm sure.
You can love it, and then too much of a good thing. It's like you need some vegetables to make you appreciate the meat.
I'm interested. I want to see how long I can go doing it. Fuck it. I'm always trying something a little wild, so...
You're a little tough enough to be stupid, too,
from
time to time. So, let's not...
So I can embrace this diet.
There you go.
I can embrace it and just fucking... push
there you
through.
Go, man. All right.
But anyways.
So we had some emails come in. Did you see?
We had the one from our
buddy Bill.
Was he the one that him and his son started?
Yep, his son started jiu-jitsu. They found a school. I think he said it was Soma Jiu-Jitsu. I apologize. I should have looked it up. But yeah, in Ohio.
Yep.
He found him a jiu-jitsu school. And he said he got the Book of 5 Rings as well.
Hell yeah.
And read it. So yeah, man, thanks for taking us up on that recommendation. Glad you're liking that. So yeah, keep in touch, man. Let us know how jiu-jitsu is going for you, and if there's anything we can do to help you out along the way. And God, we had another. I gotta write this stuff down. We had someone else write in and just said he thought the cardio training podcast was a really good podcast. So
I did read that. Did we mention that on last episode?
I don't think so. We may have.
Sorry if I thought we did.
Yeah.
Maybe not, though. I don't remember.
Yeah. So, but anyways, we'll get better at writing people's names down before we start. We're not used to having like more than one email. So, there you go, man, as we move up the ranks there.
Keep them coming.
Don't let that
discourage you guys from shouting at us.
Yeah, no, for sure. It makes Rob's day.
We get a little absent-minded sometimes.
Yeah. Makes my day, too. But I like to see Rob's face light up. I get excited. He's like a kid on Christmas. He's like, dude, we got a new email. So... It's good. I like to see Rob happy. So, all right. That's all I got for my pre-show notes, man.
Same here.
Yeah. All right.
So the subject for today, drilling.
Drilling. Yes. And
I think we may disagree on this.
All right.
Yeah,
good.
Possibly.
I don't even know how we could possibly disagree.
We kind of had this. We started having this conversation last week, right? And then I was like, well, let's stop talking about this. We can talk about this on a podcast because we were diverging a little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
I think.
All right.
I didn't cheat and see your notes.
No. All right. Well, what?
So we'll just start.
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree with drilling? Do you really like drilling? Or?
I like drilling.
Okay.
I think it's the secret sauce to your jiu-jitsu game. And
oh, fuck, I thought we were going to disagree more right there.
No, man.
So you feel it's really important?
I feel it's super important. I feel if I would compare it to the ramping isometrics, right? It's like the ramping isometrics of the strength training world. It's like no one really wants to do it. It's not sexy. It's a lot funner to just come to class and have somebody tell you what to do, and you do a couple, reps each, and then roll. I mean, those are kind of the more fun things to do. But yeah, I think that the just like the ramping isometrics, man, you got to do them, and they're boring, but that's the secret sauce to getting strong in an injury resistant way. Drilling is the secret sauce to the development of your jiu-jitsu game. I don't know how the fuck you develop a jiu-jitsu game without drilling. I can't even wrap my mind around it.
Why did I think we were going to disagree on that? Did we start disagreeing on positional rolling?
Yeah,
we were
talking about position. Specifical training.
Specifical training.
Yes.
Positional sparring.
Yes.
That's where our paths diverged.
Yeah, and I think we were reverging back together there. Just, my take was more like, like trying to maintain spider guard, I felt was just a little unrealistic. There were some positions that really you can flow from one position to another and use that flow to actually like set up a better position. Whereas if you just get super stubborn about I'm holding fucking spider guard,
how beneficial is that?
Yeah, how beneficial is that? And it can kind of instill a weird mindset that I'm gonna hold this position no matter what, come hell or high water. Instead of looking for those transitions. Like, okay, this isn't working. What can I transition to that, you know, and stop fighting stuff head on? But like you were saying, the basic positions like side control, back control, mount, closed guard. Yeah, I think like those positions, doing specific training with those positions can be really beneficial, because those are pretty clear-cut, more static positions. You know, you are either mounted or you're not mounted. You're either in someone's closed guard or you're not in closed guard. You know, whereas if you got someone in spider guard or de la Hiva, and it's like, you know, man, I could really just easily transition to
single leg
X or something, and I can't, because the arbitrary rules are kind of like, I need to try to maintain this and sweep from this position,
and then
So
okay, that's right. That is where we disagreed on that. But then we brought it back to like, I think positional sparring is super important, but for those big staple positions.
Yeah.
You start getting squirrely with de la Hiva or X or single X or whatever, spider guard. Because those positions are so, I think, more advantageous when you can flow from, you know,
how they're defending their opening self, something else.
I can go to this at this sweep. So we agreed on that. For some reason, I think I misconstrued in my memory. Took that conversation and implanted it on the drilling.
Drilling,
and so I thought we were gonna like disagree.
No, dude, you've heard me. I tell people all the time. Drilling, I think Saturday drill class is. I can say that is responsible as much as anything for my progression in jiu-jitsu. That I've been super consistent with making those drill classes. So no. Yeah, I think that as far as drilling goes, it's super important.
Super important.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't. I think that's where a lot of jiu-jitsu schools fuck up.
Yep.
Is they don't drill enough, man.
Nope.
We've all seen it a million times,
man. It's not fun, right? Like, you see Saturday classes, like, they vary, but usually
it's not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Well, and you'll see me a lot of times, and I stopped trying to yell at people at Saturday class about it, but man, like, I would drill the same goddamn move all hour.
Yeah.
All hour in class.
Yep.
Like, maybe a slight variation, but like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll get 5 rounds in of 5 minutes of the exact same move. No, it's not the most fun thing.
Nope.
But that's how you're going to get good at it.
How you're going to get
man.
better, man. That's when you're rolling and you're like, how'd I do that?
Yeah, you're going to understand what principles you're drilling. Like, okay, I need to have his base disrupted here. I need to have this wedge here, blah, blah, blah. Like, you really can just start picking it apart when you just get rep after rep after rep after rep.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Well, I think that's, See, you and I, like, know how to get something out of what most people, and it's still boring, right? Like, I tell people this with exercises. It's like, once you get bored of an exercise, it's good. Now you can really start to learn it, right? Like, that doesn't mean it's time to change exercises and start a new program. Like, no, fuck no. Keep doing the same goddamn exercise. I don't care if you're bored. Like, now that the shiny newness is worn off, now you can actually dig into the details, right? And so it's, but people can, like, it's boring, right? And so you have to find the mental stimulation in that boring situation. And that's where a lot of people, this is where like being a good learner comes in. And a lot of people, we were talking about like schools earlier, right? They don't teach you how to be a fucking good learner. And so people come into it and they don't know how to learn. Like, they don't know how to like pay attention to, you know, what rep felt good and which one didn't. And why did the good one feel good and the bad one didn't? And why is, you know, what am I doing wrong is this not working the way that it should? And it's really digging in. It's not just doing the reps, right? Like, we say that, but it's really not that. Like, it's doing a rep and then analyzing it, doing a rep and then analyzing it, doing a rep and then analyzing it. And after you do it for a long time, like you and me, we're just doing it so quickly because it's just what we do all the time, that people look at us from the outside and it looks like we're just banging out reps. We're banging out reps. But we're not just banging out reps.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on.
A lot more going on upstairs than just going through the motions. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost with drilling, and they don't see the benefit of it, and they don't get it because it is boring. They don't know what they should be thinking about, and that they should be actively learning, not just, you know, mindlessly doing. And so they don't know how to get out of that bored state, and you don't really see benefits from that kind of drilling, right? Like, it's like the principle of, it's not just practice, it's focused practice, right? It's like the whole 10,000 hours rule, which is another like total bullshit, like kind of made up thing that kind of fits in, and we'll go with it. But
it sells books.
It does. But the idea is you got to put in thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, a lot of time to get really, really good at something and start to achieve expert status at it. But what the research found is it's not just going through the motions, it's focused practice. It's practice that has a very specific goal, and you're focusing on what you're doing, not just going through the motions. And so, but if you don't know how to do that, you're not going to get the benefit from it. And so then you walk away from a few Saturday drill classes going like, well, this sucks. Like, I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm not getting better at rolling. I'm not enjoying it. So why do I need to do it? So, but that's what it is. Most people don't know how to learn. They don't know what should be going on upstairs when they're drilling. And so that's the biggest thing I kind of see. You see a lot of just mindless drilling. You know, when I look around, I don't see people's reps getting better from one rep to the next. They just keep kind of making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And it's like, okay, you're drilling, that's great, but
you're missing a lot.
You're missing a lot of it, man. And that's not like drilling needs to be so much more than it needs than just going through the motions. So no, man, I think that's why you and I drill together. You know,
I don't know why I was coming in today. Pretty certain. I wasn't ready to argue, but pretty certain that we were on opposite sides of it. And I don't know why. Like, now I'm, thinking back on it, like,
yeah, it was positional sparrings where we had that minute where we were like, wait a minute, man. And we had but no. So, okay. So now that we are on the same page with it,
I think, so let's go this way. Like, there's so many good benefits from it, but one of the I don't know. It's hard to I guess put a hierarchy to the benefits you're going to derive from it. But one of the great benefits from it is just that muscle memory and that feel. So that way, when you're in a match and you are tired as fuck, like you get to that position, like you don't even have to think about it. No. You're just reacting. Yeah. Because if you're taking the time to think, your opponent's got the time to think, and then you might get behind the eight ball. Like, if you can just react, like as soon as you feel this weight here, this position here, like, and you're going before you even realize what happened. Yeah. That's priceless. Yeah, and you don't achieve that unless you drill the shit out of something.
Oh, you got so many reps.
So many reps, just because you just have to go by feel. Yeah. Yeah, and then we can talk about there's a lot of different ways you can drill as far as to like time structure, rep structure. I don't really like doing like a 1-for-1 rep, like a 1-for-1 drill. Like,
no. That's not drilling.
That's not drilling. Like if let's even if we're drilling the same thing. Let's say we're drilling takedowns, like a double leg or something. I don't like it doing me do a double leg on you and then you do a double leg on me. Like, I really believe at the very minimum you should do like 4 reps in a row, because it'll start self-correcting. You can analyze, this one didn't feel good, and right away you're doing another one. Oh, that one, I fixed that problem.
Yeah, you can't learn it on one.
You can't, because if you do one and then your partner does one, you have that little bit of a disconnect, and you can't
between the reps.
You can't fix yourself.
Yep.
So, it's hard. Like, a lot of times we do drill in 5-minute increments. It's a little rough if you are the one getting taken down for 5 minutes straight. So for takedowns, like, I like trading reps, but if you do like a minimum of like 4 reps, then your partner does 4 reps, you got a lot of learning in there.
You don't fucking trade reps with me when you're doing takedowns, bitch.
Oh, well, I'm trying to cushion it for people. I'm trying to cushion it for people.
Well, I would say, like, just be mindful of your partner. I think one of that kind of speaks to one of the things I've written down is be a good partner. There's a lot of ways to be a good partner. And one is realizing, like, yeah, if I just do fucking 5 minutes of hard-ass double legs the entire day today on my training partner, like, and I do that consistently, like, I'm going to find it harder to find people who want to drill with me, because that's just not fun. And it's rough on my training partners not taking care of your partners. So just like the partners need to be good and not be floppy and give you good reactions and stuff like that, like, yeah, being mindful of your partner, and just like if you're doing fucking chokes on them, like, goddamn, like 5 minutes of mount chokes, like maybe you don't need to be trying to work on your cardio at the same time by banging out as many reps as you can, sort of thing. So there's a fine line. You got to be a little selfish, but yeah, I think
and you hit on it, like being a good partner on both sides, and there's benefit to when you are the one being drilled on. Like you don't want to just be a limp noodle, but you want to allow your partner to do his move correctly with not a ton of resistance, because that's where people make mistakes. If they feel resistance, they adjust, and that's probably not the correct adjustment.
Right.
That when you're drilling, they should be perfect reps. So if you're providing too much resistance for your partner to do a perfect rep, it's too much.
Yeah.
You got to scale back your resistance. But
the volume, no, I think it's like we talked about, like you should be at like 40%.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a drilling partner for someone, unless they ask you like, hey, I need a little bit more resistance, and maybe you go up to like 50 or 60. But like, yeah, when you're drilling with someone, like both you doing the drill on someone and you being the uke, the partner, like, yeah, that fucking volume knob should very rarely go over 40%. And yeah, I see that all the time, man. You get someone who's just like super stiff.
Oh god.
Like they're the opposite, right? You get someone who doesn't react realistically at all, and they're just floppy. And then you get someone who's just like super stiff, and everything you try to do for them, you're fighting. So it's like neither one is being a good partner. So you're fucking up your partner because they're not able to do the technique properly, and you're fucking up yourself because, like you mentioned, like even when you're the partner, you have an opportunity to learn. And you should be drilling your realistic reaction to what they're doing. And obviously you're stopping short of defending what they're doing. But man, it
still doesn't mean you can't see where you would be defending it, and even maybe putting your limbs in the right spot to where you. But as soon as you get to the point to where you would actually be stopping it, then you dial it back. And that's super important. Is not doing that and not mentally checking out when it's your partner's turn.
Yes.
I see that a lot in our Saturday drill class. When someone's getting drilled on, they're just checked out.
Yeah.
They're not squeezing any of the juice out of that when they're getting drilled on.
No.
But there's so much benefit in that.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you got to look a little bit harder for it, and it takes a little practice, but it's there.
Yep.
And you got to stay mentally engaged.
Yeah.
Or else you're going to walk away from like, that class sucked.
Right, yeah. And you weren't a good partner because your partner can tell, like, you're not reacting realistically, you're not, So, yeah, it's super important to be a good partner and kind of understand.
And on that note, too, is you got to understand what you are drilling for. Like, what is the focus of that drill? Are you specifically trying to sharpen a new technique, learn the principles of it and where you're screwing it up? Or is it a technique you have dialed in and you're going for a little bit more of like a quote-unquote workout with that drill? They can't be the same thing.
Right.
They're not going to be the same thing.
No.
Because if you're really trying to learn a technique, it's going to be a slower pace. And
yes.
And you're going to be fine-tuning it. But if it's something you've done 1,000 times already and you're trying to get that muscle memory and more rep, then it can be a little bit faster pace.
Right.
Then the focus is changing. Like, hey, I'm trying to get my heart rate up. Like if you're just, like we do some of those warm-up drills where we're doing like kind of like a knee slice pass.
Yeah.
But you're not quite finishing the pass. Like that's a drill, but it's a different focus.
Yeah. But even then, it's like first time someone learns that, they got to go through it slowly. It's going to look different.
Because it's more of a skill drill at first.
Yeah. Once you've got that gross motor skill down, now you can start hitting it quicker and get that. But
you can't. The two, they're separate.
Yeah.
You got to understand that.
That's a good point. There's a lot of stuff. It's funny when you talk about it, almost seems self-evident, but
it's not.
But by bringing unconscious things to the conscious level, you allow people to make better use of them instead of just kind of hoping that they do. So pointing out like, there is a difference. And it's funny, as actually one of the things I had here, there was kind of 4 categories that I, put the drilling in. And one was learning a new technique. Like you said, it's something that, I want to touch on this actually, like what learning a new technique during drill class actually means. It doesn't mean fucking watching YouTube that morning and walking in, having never actually done this. So anyways, I'll kind of dig into that little rant here in a second. But so learning new techniques, dialing in details on a technique, like you were saying. I think too, and it's kind of a fuzzy line, but I also look at, plugging holes in your game. Like drill class is a chance, like you may learn a new technique, you may be working on a new technique, but I look at, I need to plug a hole in my game, right? Like this is always happening to me. Well, I'm gonna find a solution, and I'm gonna spend this drill class working on that solution. So I know it's kind of splitting hairs because technically it could be one of those like new techniques or dialing in a dialing one in. But I think not a lot of people really think about drill class that way. They're not thinking when they're rolling, like, what's constantly happening to me. Now, drill class is an opportunity for me to fix that and work on that hole in my game. And then, two, I've got working on your other side. Like, that's something, again, I think that if you're not conscious of, if you're really good at doing your knee cut pass to your right, man, you need to come in and spend a significant amount of time working on it to the left. And getting to the point, one, where you're not right or left dominant, so that if the enemy forces you in another direction that you're not used to, it's not this world-ending event for you. But you're going to learn so much from dialing in your weaker side. You're going to have to go back to your stronger side. And I mean, I see, we do this all the time. It's like, man, why does this feel different? I got to go back to my strong side. And what am I doing different? Oh, okay, I'm doing this. And then you go back. And so it forces you to learn the technique on such a deeper level when you take that time to drill your weaker side. And, so, I mean, the goal is eventually have a strong side and a stronger side, not a strong side and a weak side. So anyways, like I said, it's kind of splitting some hairs because those two broad categories, like you said, I think pretty much catch those other two, but just some other ways for people to think about, like, when I'm going in a drill class, what are kind of some of the problems that I can be working on with it, because you need to have some sort of plan. I think, again, that's another problem that people have, is you come in and it's like, what are you working on?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Or you're like, okay, cool. Why are you working on that? And it's like, someone who needs to be working on their fucking guard passing, working on, I don't know, like something else. And it's like, why are you working on that? Well, I don't know. It's like, okay, well, that's like drill class. Again, it's not just to come in and go through mindless reps. Like, you should have put some thought in before you came here about what your problems are and what you need to be working on and how you're going to address them. And, and then you go through that process of refining it and being mentally conscious when you're actually doing it. But, yeah, I think that's another one. And the new technique thing, man. So, because, dude, we run into, it's funny, Kiele and I were arguing about that this morning. This is the thing where she was like, I may disagree with them, stand your ground. Because she said something about, like, well, make use of the higher belts. Ask them questions if you have a question or you're having a problem. It's something I don't see a lot of people taking advantage of people, the higher belts, and asking them questions. And I was like, well, to be honest with you, that's kind of bullshit, because that's my drill time. Like, it actually irritates the shit out of me when I've got to go over and, like, teach somebody something. Like, it's asking, again, it goes back to being a good partner, right? Like, if you walk in to the drill class and you're trying to do a technique that you've literally never done before, you watched on YouTube that morning or saw in a book, and you walk in and you start doing it, and you're just hacking it to pieces. Or you do ask, you come over and you say, hey man, can you show me how to do this? Man, it's going to take like kind of a mini private training session with this person. You're going to have to take like several minutes, like 3 to 5 minutes, to show them the technique and teach them the technique. Well, you just lost one of your drill things, man. So that's not cool for you. So it's really kind of selfish if you're, again, and it's not that, so the way that I put it, the way that I told Kelly is, like, I think that there's a difference between asking for help on a detail with a technique and asking for help learning a technique during drill class. Like, if you need help learning a technique, then you need to come to drill class early and catch somebody and ask them. You need to catch somebody after class and ask them. Like, during drill time is not the time to be learning a brand new technique kind of thing. Now, if you're working on a new technique and you're like, man, this just doesn't feel right, because I'll do that. I'll be like, I'll go grab Kevin or go grab you. Hey, will you watch this real quick? But the thing is, again, like, I'm conscious of it. Like, I will, as soon as the buzzer rings, we get a minute break. It's like I'm going over and asking my question and trying not to impede. Like, I'm being conscious of the fact that I'm going to impede on your time if that buzzer rings and you're still talking to me. And so I'm just trying to be conscious of that. Like, we'll do that, and I know that you guys don't mind that. But I guess my point is that, to get the most use out of your drill time and not waste other people's time is, don't try to learn something brand new during drill class And if you do need to ask for help with a detail, just be conscious of the fact like you are eating into someone else's drill time. And so try to minimize that by getting to them as quickly as possible and, you know, just minimizing the amount of detail that you're looking for in their answer. And maybe hit them up after the drill class if you need some more detail or something. So I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I agree and disagree on a couple things. It boils down to, one, like what kind of precedent are you setting as the higher belt going into the drill class? Like you'll always hear me when hey, drill class is starting, pick your partner. You know, if you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me.
Yep.
And I accept the fact that some of my drill time is going to get interrupted by helping a lower belt. And that's my position in the academy. Like I have to accept that. And if I feel I'm getting cheated out of a drill session, I will take it upon myself to take advantage of it, to make up for it. You know what I mean? Like I'll do another one, or I'll drill something else, like at another point in time. But that comes back to, like you said it a couple times in a few different ways, but I think it's super important is that you should be coming in with a plan of what to drill. It shouldn't be just what you watched on fucking YouTube that morning. I think there's only two places you should be deriving techniques from to drill on that. If you have drill class once a week or whatever, however your school's set up, it's either you're drilling something you learned that week in class.
I think if you're a white belt, like that pretty much should be your fucking plan.
That should be your plan.
Yeah. Unfreedom. Like you have unfreedom at white belt.
Whatever you got taught that week in class is what you should be drilling.
Yeah.
1 or 2 techniques. Simple as that. And if you need to ask a question, it's a quick review. Like, hey, I learned this. Can you give me a review on the 4 steps or something?
Yep.
Cool. You get into a little bit higher belts, blues and above, you could either take your techniques, what you learned that week, or what's been fucking you up when you've been training.
Right.
You know, it's funny you said that. Like, I thought that was a given. It should be a given in my mind. Like, for example, I did that last weekend for Joe's class. Like, Kevin just kept...
Yeah, I remember.
Kevin killing me, pulling De La Hiva and just killing me. Just pulling De La Hiva guard and killing me. So I'm like, dude, I am drilling the fuck out of this. Like, but I thought those were, it's self-evident. Self-evident. Yeah. Like, if you run into a problem when you're training, you write it down in your journal. And then that way when you come to Joe class, you wake up Saturday morning before you come train, you look at your journal, like, oh, yeah, this was kicking my ass this week. That's when I'm drilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said this a million times, it's your jiu-jitsu journey, and it's your responsibility to make the most of it. It's not on anybody else.
No.
And so those things are super important. Yeah, and if you're not doing those things, you're kind of being selfish a little bit when you're coming into a drill class and you are eating up a higher belt's time because you're asking some stupid fucking question.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like someone who's got it. Yeah,
you need to come in with a plan. And those are really the only 2 places you should bring a plan.
People say there aren't any dumb questions. Like we all know that's not fucking true. There are dumb questions.
There's dumb questions,
right? And so it's kind of the same thing. Like just ask us questions, ask a higher belt questions, but just make sure that they're not a dumb question, like based on you being selfish and not having a plan. And I think if you're doing a lot of things that we're talking about, this just kind of naturally happens.
Self-corrects, it's fine.
Right. But it's the people who don't realize that, like, oh, I should be having a plan, and oh, I am kind of eating up someone else's time, who come in and you're just like, wait a minute, man, what are you doing over there? You know, it's like that original meme that I put up of fucking that look on Fraser Crane's face, and it's like, what are you drilling over there? Because it's almost like kind of a fucking tongue-in-cheek, joke these days. I mean, it hasn't been as bad, but there was a while there, man, where like every Saturday we'd come in and it's like, dude, what are you doing over there? What are you drilling? Like, who taught you that? Like, that's my favorite. Is like, who taught you that?
Where did you get that
Where did you learn that from? And it's like, they're like, well, I don't know. I just saw this one. And it's like, holy shit, man. Like, at least run that by Kevin or Rob, or just like, something. Like, I'll do that. Like, if I see something new that's like really kind of outside the realm of what I've seen before, like I'll come to you guys and like say, hey, like take a look at this. Like, is this legit? So anyways, but I won't do it during drill class, right? Like I'll make sure I ask those questions beforehand. But yeah, so I think that's kind of...
Yeah, it goes back to, you're responsible for your jiu-jitsu growth and learning. And I understand there's a learning curve within that. Like if you've never been in an organized sport to where you had a coach, going to practices, like, so you don't really understand what that's like.
Yeah.
It's a new thing for you. I understand there's a learning curve there, but yeah, you got to be responsible for yours, and then you can't be the asshole eating up everybody's fucking time because you're drilling some YouTube sensation, like...
Yeah, it's like make the best use of your... Because that's not the best use of your time either, right? Like drill time is some of the most valuable time that you can spend. It's also some of the hardest to carve out for a lot of people. And so it's like, yeah, man, don't waste it. Just understand how to make the most use of it. And it's like, that's pretty good rule of thumb, man. If you don't know what you're doing, like, don't do it. I remember that I almost fell into that. I was like, tried some move on you in the last drill class, and I was like, oh man, I was watching this on the knee bar series, and I knew that I was like, it's like I sound just as bad as those fucking YouTubers, but I immediately bailed on it. Yeah.
You tried it for about 10 seconds, and you were like, all right,
this isn't working.
This is going to be a waste of time.
And this is not the time to learn it, and it's not the time to do it. So I just went back to something that I knew to finish out the drill. So yeah, no, I mean it's definitely a process of learning how to learn, but yeah. So anyways, have a plan. That is the biggest thing. Have a plan. And the plan should be formulated based on your notes and observations of your drilling and your classes and rolling and other stuff. And so that should be what's feeding your drill time. So yeah,
pretty straightforward, I would think.
It is, man. You would think. So
I guess I understand if it's not, but it fucking should be.
No, that's just it. If you don't think about it. I don't think anybody's coming in there like trying to be an asshole wasting everybody's time. They just don't know. Okay. They don't realize they're wasting their time. They're wasting your time. And it's not me trying to be an asshole. It's like, no, you're like, this is a waste of your time, right? Like, so I'm trying to help you out. Like, but yeah, you are wasting my time too. Yeah. So, but anyways, man. So, see, have a plan. Don't waste time. What do I got here? Consistency is important. And you touched on this already with how you'll tend to take one technique and just drill that the entire day, whether doing one side and then doing the other side or whatever it is, but you'll have one technique that you'll do for the entire day and then change that like every 1 to 2 weeks kind of thing. And we've talked about this before. Like the way that I approach it is I'll pick like 2 to 4 techniques, and then I will drill those for like 4+ weeks. And then I'll reevaluate and then change the techniques. But the take-home message, however you're doing it, there needs to be some consistency to what you're doing. So, if you're just changing it up, every round, and then every Saturday, we keep referring to Saturday because that's when we drill. But every time you drill, you're doing something brand new. There's just no chance to really learn anything. So yeah. Got any
that agitates the shit out of me when I look over and I see someone drilling a different move every goddamn round that day. So they're doing 5, and they're even worse if they're not connected. If they were connected in a roadmap, like, okay, this round I'm drilling a pass, this round I'm drilling this transition, and then this round I'm drilling a submission. Like, if there's a clear path, I don't tend to get my blood pressure too boiled. Right. But if it's just complete fucking randomness. Yeah. Dude, I get so angry. Just like, I can't even say anything. Because I know I'm just going to say some offensive shit. I'm just going to be like, what in the fuck is going on over there?
Well, I think that comes from you just naturally, in your experience, they don't have a plan. That is usually indicative of not having a plan. Now, because like, I do that, but we talk, and then you understand what my plan is, and you're like, okay, well, that makes sense. But I think that's more what, again, it goes back to having a plan. It's like if you went over there and asked them, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And they at least had a plan. They had some sort of like coherent thought process for why they were doing what they do. You may tell them like, well, that's all fucked up, and here's why it's fucked up. But you're not going to have the same, there'll be that moment where you're like, okay, well, they're not just like completely.
At least they put thought into it.
Right, there's some thought into it. Yeah. So I think that, it's usually when you see that shotgun approach, it is a surefire sign of no plan. But if you have a plan and you happen to have some techniques that aren't necessarily connected, that's not, because like I said, like for me, I usually look to do some sort of escape, some sort of, submission, some sort of pass. Like I have like kind of a basic framework that I'll pull from. But like I said, but if you're looking at the techniques from the outside, it's like they may not necessarily connect, but then you come and talk to me and you're like, man, I'm working on this because I'm struggling with this in this situation, and then I'm struggling with this in this situation. So there's a thought process behind it, a plan. But have a fucking plan.
Have a plan.
Have a plan. That's what gets your blood boiling. If
you
don't have a plan, man, you're such a planner. You got your checklist and your notebook, and it's just such a natural part of what you do. That I'm the same way, man. The hardest thing in the world is to understand how people who don't think like you see the world.
Yeah, that's true.
It really is, man. And that's where you get yourself, you kind of have to step back sometimes and be like, all right, like, not everybody sees the world the way that I do.
There's other ways to see the world.
But fuck, mine's the right way. Mine's the right way, man. So what I have here too. Oh, this is, I think, important too. Like competition drilling, where you're just working your game plan. And so if you're a competitor, like you want to have an A+ game, and that's your game and you're working that game. But a lot of times that can come at the expense of having a well-rounded game. And so versus, I kind of termed it martial artist drilling, where you're kind of looking at the bigger picture as a martial artist doing this. And so now I put like working on other possibilities.
Well, I would say this, a way to frame that would be like if you're leading into a competition, you're 6-8 weeks out for whatever, like you should be, there's different mindsets, but a lot of times competition drilling, I would say, is you're doubling down on your strengths.
Yeah.
And you are just sharpening the shit out of that sword.
Yep.
And then you're going to have times and periods to where you're trying to fill holes. And there's a difference there.
Yeah.
And you got to understand that. But that's part of having a plan and going in with a structure.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm going to do rounds 1, 2, and 3 sharpening that sword, and then I'm doing rounds 4, 5, and 6 plugging some holes.
Yeah.
And if you go in with that, you're going to get a lot more benefit out of it.
Yeah.
And if you're just willy-nilly, like, okay, I'm working on my strength here, oh, let's fill this gap here, blah, blah, blah. Like,
right.
It's not nearly as effective.
Yeah.
You're going to be spinning your tires more than you're getting any benefit out of it.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. But yeah, that's I think important for people to keep in mind. Like, there's a difference between competition drilling and where you're trying to like work that. I guess it's like sharpening the edge versus forging the blade.
Yep.
There's periods where you want to forge the blade and kind of make the blade bigger, and then you're coming in and you're sharpening those edges, and so it's that working back and forth that is important. So. What else I got here? Oh, strategically pick your partner if you need help. This was kind of another compromise, I guess, when I was talking to Kiele, where I was like, well, really, if you feel like you're going to need some help on a detail or something like that, like, be strategic with the partner that you pick. Like, try to pick someone and get with them. And even if you walk up and you're like, hey, man, I need your help with, picking apart a detail on this drill, would you mind working with me? And let them know. But that's kind of a good compromise, I think, if you feel like you're going to need a little bit more time than just a quick little 30-second check this out, what do you think, then be aggressive about getting a partner who can help you without, again, you got to be respectful. You're not trying to turn it into like a private training session and impede on their time. And this is where being a good partner comes in too, because if you're a good partner with a good reputation as a good partner, it's going to be a lot easier to walk up to a higher belt and ask them, hey, can you help me with this during drill class, kind of thing. So, I don't know. What do you got?
A good way to do that is, say you have a training partner that is constantly fucking you up in a certain position when you're training.
Yeah.
Use that. That's what you need to drill that day. And if that dude's there, get him. And say, hey, man, will you be my drilling partner today? You are constantly passing me with this pass. I need to figure this out. And we're all, everybody we train with would be super helpful there. Like, this is what I'm doing.
I'm almost so bad about giving away my fucking secrets on how to. Anyways,
and, I like it. Like,
I know. I don't want to beat anybody because they weren't because of ignorance.
Yeah, because ignorance, or like I said before, like parlor tricks. I don't want to.
Nope.
I want to be able to show somebody exactly what I'm doing.
Yep.
Because then if I accomplish it even after they know what I'm doing, then it's like now I know I'm doing it good.
Yeah. So if you have a mindset to not help them, you're kind of fragilizing the system.
You're fragilizing your system.
Yep.
And that's fucking. Yeah, that's a bad deal.
That's another thing.
So but that's a good, like we talked about before. If you find something earlier in the week when you're rolling that's kicking your ass, that's what you should be drilling. And even better, that person that's doing it to you, ask them to be your drill partner that day.
Yeah. There's
nothing wrong with that.
No.
That's a great way to do it.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think that's a good one. Let's see what else I got. Oh, macro versus micro drilling. Again, just kind of one of these, I think, self-evident concepts that if you don't think about might not be so self-evident, but when you're beginning, a lot of times you're going to be doing like what I guess I refer to as macro drilling, where you're going to be drilling big moves, maybe multiple moves strung together. Micro drilling is just catching a grip just the right way, just hitting one little detail over and over and over and over and just drilling down. So like it is okay to drill like one tiny little detail for 5 minutes, but probably not when you're a white belt. Like that's not where you're at. But it's just understanding that there will come a time when, man, you may spend 5 minutes just drilling in on this little micro detail that you need to get better at. But anyways,
yeah, I agree.
Cool.
As simple as that.
Yeah, as simple as that. All right, 2 other pieces of advice here, and then we'll wrap it up. Get a group or a consistent time. They're kind of like I said, like ramping isometrics. It's so much easier if you have a group setting, or at least like a consistent training partner and time. So if you're at a school that doesn't have drill class, one, I would suggest maybe go to your coach and talk to them and say, have you considered doing a drill class? I really want to start drilling more. What do you think? And they may be really open to it and set up a drill class. They may be like, hey, if you want to set up a time and kind of get things going. I mean, we've got several guys that have 8 a.m. on Sunday is a good example, where that's not a formal class, but there's a pretty consistent group of guys who get together and train. And so, or just even if it's you get one dude, and you're like, hey man, we're going to come to class early on this day and drill or whatever it is. But it is something that's easier to do with someone. Obviously, like you need a partner to drill, period. Unless you invest in a grappling dummy, which was actually my last bit of advice, is if you live somewhere where you don't have easy access to training partners, or you live away from your jiu-jitsu school and so you're not able to make classes as often because you got to drive a long way, investing in a grappling dummy is invaluable, man. Like I got my guy, the submission master that I got, call him Silent Bob. But man, like I was telling Kelly this morning that I forget how much credit Bob deserves for my early progression as in jiu-jitsu, because I put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reps on that dude, just arm bars and triangles and sit-up sweeps and just practicing knee on belly and just all of these things. And so having a grappling dummies are great because like they never complain and they never want to rep.
They're never late.
Yeah, exactly, man. So, again, I know not everybody can afford one, but that is something I would say if you can, that's probably one of the best investments you can make in your jiu-jitsu is a grappling dummy to allow you to drill at home on your own time. But with that in mind, if you can set up some sort of group setting and be consistent with it, that's probably the easiest thing. I mean, like I said, Saturday classes, I was talking to Kiele, I was like, man, honestly, if you took Saturday drill classes out, it's not like we're paragons of fucking drilling.
No.
Yeah, I'm not like, I want to. It's one of my goals. I want to drill more than just once a week, but it's hard. But I know Saturday drill class is there. I know people are going to be there, so it's an easy, consistent thing for me to do. But yeah, it's just kind of some tricks.
Yeah, there's a couple of good things you said there. Like if you don't have a drill class at your academy, I would almost guarantee if you went to your coach, your instructor, whatever, and said, hey, I think I would like to drill more. Is there any chance of us putting together a specific drill time? Dude, 99% of the jiu-jitsu guys I know would be like, fuck yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep.
I don't know why we're not doing that yet. But there's also other opportunities, If I don't know how your academy works, maybe you don't have a key, you can't get in just whenever you want. But
it's not quite run as loosely as Grand Valley.
But instead of like you get done training, usually like the way a standard class runs, everybody gets done and we all free roll or spar. Use that time to get a couple drill rounds in. If you got a good training partner, say, hey man, I just want to drill this. I don't want to wrestle today. I just want to drill. Most people would drill with you. Or if the mat space is available and you can show up early. If you show up a half hour early and drill, provide again what class schedule your academy has going on. But there is opportunities there. If you want to do it, you can seek it out.
Yeah. I'd say too, man, I mean, just kind of one last little thing. Because you mentioned there, like, show up like a half hour early. In an optimal world, yeah. But, man, for a lot of people starting out, man, show up 15 minutes. Yeah. Show up 10 minutes. Show up 5. Get 5 minutes worth of drilling in. Even if you did nothing but spend your first, instead of rolling for your first round, you drilled for that first round after class and the live roll, and we start sparring. Or just, that was kind of one of the things I remember Rolly told us. He was telling me and Kelly, kind of calling us out. I'm like, man, you guys live together. You guys should be drilling more like this. But he said, like, you can't make it a big deal. Mm-mm. It can't be a big deal. Like, whatever you can do, even if it's just like 5-10 minutes, but you just be consistent with it. You can't make it a big deal. And so I think that's important too, man. Like, we have these goals of getting to where we've got half an hour to drill. But, man, start with what isn't a big deal. Because if it's too big of a deal, you won't do it. That's just kind of basic fucking, habit hacking stuff. So
it's a good point. I tend mediocrity is not my not mediocrity, but man, I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, fucking dumbing.
Moderation.
Yeah.
The moderation is not my strong suit.
Yeah.
So I always go fucking deep first.
Yeah, but that's good though. But see, like, you're the David Goggins for me kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I wish.
Yeah. Well,
maniac.
I
love it.
Anyways. But you're like, that's the thing though, is like I like that about you. You encourage me to like continue to push myself in that direction. But by the same token, I know from having worked with so many people over the years that the reality is you got to meet people where they're at. And, little above, as a coach, like the best coaches are the ones that it's not you meet them where they're at, because then there's no impetus to change. I think it's that you set your expectations just a little bit higher than where they're at.
Just a touch higher.
Yeah. Now, that your expectations are much higher and the level that you expect them to get to is much higher. But if you're at this much higher level and they're way down here and you're trying to like, you got to get up here, it doesn't work. But if you're just a little higher than them, and and then you're just a little higher than them, and then they meet that expectation. And so that's where they're like, hey, just start out with 10 minutes, and then work up.
It doesn't have to be some big grandiose thing, because you're not going to stick to it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're starting at zero,
some
it's
big
hard.
Fucking production, then it's just not going to.
Yep.
It's not going to pan out.
Just knowing that eventually, if you really want to get the full benefits of drilling, you probably are going to have to carve out, half an hour to an hour, like once or twice a week, to get the real full benefits of it. But something's better than nothing.
Yep.
And, so many people use, I can't be perfect, so I'm not even going to try, as an excuse to not take action. That I just think it's important that, we point out that, man, even if you can't achieve the Rob goal, it's all right.
That's all right. Most of the time, I don't achieve the Rob goal.
It's all right,
it's
man.
All good.
So, all right, good. So you got to go compete, dude.
Yeah,
man,
I got to get on the road, get to Denver, compete tomorrow. By the time this show comes out, it'll be next week.
Yep.
So I'd already have done competed.
That's right. Yeah.
Hopefully did good.
Did good. Yeah, we don't have a very big team going this time.
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like you and Amelia are like half of the team.
I haven't even put a ton of thought into it.
You may be 2/3 of the team.
Yeah. It's this time of year, man.
Yeah.
Driving up over the Rocky Mountains.
It's hard.
It's a motherfucker this time of year.
Yeah.
Like, I drive for a living, so it's no big deal to me, dude. I don't even really think about it, but I get it. Like, it's a little sketchy. It's
man.
250-mile drive.
Fuck, dude.
Through the Rocky Mountains. Today's a snowstorm. It's looking kind of shitty that way.
I had a fucking little incident on Vail Pass that swore me off. Like, dude, I don't think you can pay me enough money to drive over to Denver in the winter.
Yeah, it doesn't faze me.
I know. It's because you do it, man.
I do it for
And you got a Subaru, bro.
That Subaru. That thing drives like a motherfucker in this
I know, man.
It's beautiful.
Dude, it's funny. Moving to Colorado completely changed my opinion of Subarus. Yeah. Like, I thought they were just kind of like snotty little freaking hippie cars. And then I'm like, damn, these things are like,
they handle
good.
So good in the snow.
Yeah.
Dude. So I've had Jeeps, like Jeep Wrangler. I've had pickup trucks, 4-wheel drive and shit. Dude, nothing compares to that Subaru in the snow. It's like a tank, dude. It just goes. It's freaking great, man.
I know. It's on my list. Next car we get, Kiela, is going to be
it's worth it.
A Subaru.
Yeah.
She's making fun of me. She's like, we can get a black, and you and Rob can be twins. You can be the black grumpy guy, and he can be the white one.
Yep. You got to get a ski rack on top, even though you don't use it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had one on my passport. I took it off.
Did you?
Yeah. Mainly just because I got tired of.
You got to put a ski rack up there, and then like a Thule, and get a bunch of stickers for it.
Yes.
That's the move.
That is the move.
You are not a true Coloradan. Is that the word?
Coloradan.
Coloradan.
I don't know what it is.
You're not one of those unless you got a bunch of stickers on your Thule.
That's right. All right, man. Well, let's wrap this up before we just
rattle on about some more obnoxious shit.
So
you got to go compete.
Cool. All right. Oh yeah. We got to do the old. So as everybody probably knows, Grumpy Guy BJJ at gmail.com. Hit us up. You got any questions, suggestions, anything like that? Find us on iTunes and Podbean and all the other suspects. The podcasting platforms. Producer Rob here worked super hard on getting us on them. Oh, and our new website's live.
Yeah.
So it's up and live. So check us out at grumpyguybjj.com and let us know what you think about the new site. We're pretty pumped on it. Think it looks good. And I think that's about it. Oh, yeah, you can sign up for your podcast updates and the free BJJ Improvement Starter Kit when you're there at grumpyguybjj.com.
Super easy to do. You just go to the website. It's
right there now. It's like as soon as you go to the website, see, click here and don't even have to look for some
if you
link
can't
on the side.
If you can't figure that out,
let us know.
No, don't let us know. If you can't figure that out, you probably can't send us a fucking email.
Right.
So I don't want to hear from you.
Fuck, Rob. You just put a challenge out for someone. Some poor bastard is going to go to the site and just for some reason be like, I don't know where it's at. And Rob.
If you can't, man, go. We will give you the number for the energy clearer to the house.
Yes.
And I will do the energy clearing personally.
Yes.
At a discounted rate of $175.
Discounted rate. That's right.
I might do it FaceTime even. So if you can't figure out how to sign that up, hit me up.
Okay.
And I will energy clear their house, their vehicles, everything.
I just get another thing I know from experience. As soon as you think that it's impossible for someone to screw something up, you just challenge the universe.
I say that now and our website's going to crash. And no one's going to be able to sign up for it. It's going to get all fucked up.
Karma.
The karma is going to be like, oh, you're being a smartass.
Yep.
Here you go.
Thanks, Rob. We appreciate you.
Sorry,
YouTube
guys.
already hates us.
That's all good,
they're
man.
still rejecting our videos. Anyways. All right. Okay. Well, once again.
That's it.
Yeah. Grumpy Guy BJJ. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.